All right. I think my new mic's working. I think everything's up. Dun, 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 dun. They're going to premiere the video in about 15 to 20 minutes. So what the hey? We'll just go live and that'll give me a chance to get a few things organized. Everybody knows how talented I am when it comes to the technical aspect of all this bullshit. So let's see about this here. Island. I'm assuming I'm working. It looks like it. My mic tested out. Should be a better sounding mic. I made improvements. I'm hoping it sounds better than it's been. Yeah, this is real. Yeah, this is real. I just watched. I'm gonna pull it up here in a second. I got they just ran like a little teaser over on the our Nevada judges. So let me see if I can find. We can play that little teaser. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, by the way, yeah, there we go. I need to get that on another browser though, so that it doesn't interfere. The prosecuting attorney, I noticed in the little teaser that she asked for those 90 days to be suspended. So I guess he pissed that judge off so bad. Judge said, no suspended here. No, isn't gonna happen. Okay, let me pull this up on another browser. Nevada. Yeah, their channel has been busy today. Everybody wanting the same. All right, so let's see what I've got here. That should be on another browser. It is. Bring this down over here. Go back to StreamYard. All right, now I've got that back up. Let me set this other browser up so I can see who all's here. Hi, Tennis Slay. Vixter. Let's see. I got to keep myself at point here. Make sure I get all this organized so I don't screw it up. If that's true, if the prosecuting attorney actually asked for the sentences to be suspended and she ended up giving him 90 consecutive, not even concurrent. Because I did hear her say, and I made a comment on their channel. I did hear her say, no, he wants to be arrested. He's doing this for his YouTube channel. It's like she's got his grift down to a T. All right. That's just too much to spit out. So I'm just going to call you music and art or just arts. All right. Let me get this other browser set up. So I've got all my ducks in a row here.
Doing his investigation and deciding if he wants to issue it.
Actually, what I ought to do is I ought to probably go ahead and just go to my channel with this one because that's where I'm going to end up being anyway. Yeah, that way it'll be ready. Okay. Should show the online. Huh? Yeah, there we go. There it is. Get that. All right. All right. All right. And the countdown begins. 14 minutes. So the Honorable Ann Zimmerman, let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up while we're waiting on that. I believe this is, well, I'll figure it out once I get it pulled up there. This might be the teaser. Make sure everything's working here. Should be right here. I want to close that one. Okay, there it is. Yes, sir, Bob. And we should have shared screen coming up, which it looks like we do. Now I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'll figure out what it is.
Issue a ticket to this driver, and you also don't have any business approaching the driver. The driver didn't ask you for help. The driver didn't say, help, help. You know, you didn't see an altercation happening between the officer and this driver. The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film. It's fine. All right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job. You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer. So I'd like to hear from the state and then your attorney prior to sentencing.
Your Honor, in terms of sentencing, I would ask that our defendant enter and complete an impulse control class. I would ask that the court levy a $500 fine or the equivalent in community service. I would ask that the defendant be ordered to stay out of trouble for the pendency of the case. And I would ask for a 90-day suspended sentence. And that's on as to each count for 1 week. That's our request. Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm asking the court to sentence the defendant to credit for time served for these offenses. Even if the court concludes, and the court did conclude that he didn't have the right to do what he did, I think the court can see that he sincerely believes that he has the right to do so. That's based on his past experiences and the training he received in reference to the First Amendment. I don't think there's any intent from the defendant to engage in any wrongdoing in this case, Your Honor.
Too good. They'll probably have a.
That being the case, especially because of the public policy interests at issue.
So when you say he doesn't wish to engage in any wrongdoing, it seems to me from observing him in the video that he wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called me, and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States.
DP in the chat.
Please stand up,
He's
sir.
got a link.
Finish
I
with
sent
the
it to him.
request for credit for time served.
That's it. That's all the teasers they give. I love it. She got his grip down pat. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's so good. All right. So I think everything still looks like it's working good. All right. Well, let's see what we got here. 10 more minutes. So, while we wait, let's see what I can pull up here. 2. Let's
Do you have an opinion? Today's just the arraignment.
I got you.
Oh, Jose De Castro? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. All right, Mr. De Castro, this is an obstructing or false info charge. It is case 24-006842. Obviously, I'm going to ask you, you understand your proceedings are being filmed?
Of course.
Okay.
They're here because I'm here.
Right, okay, and just so that the record's clear, you have no objection to that?
Of course not. I
Okay.
would like the transparency. I
Oh, no,
appreciate
that's
it.
fine. I need to ask that. City, there's no other issues for you with respect to this being filmed? Okay. All right, Mr. De Castro, did you get a copy of the complaint?
I did. Only question I have is who's the prosecutor? What's the prosecutor's name?
Well, let me ask a couple questions, and then we'll get into what your questions are. Did you review and
Hey,
understand
unclean
this?
hands.
I don't understand it. I don't understand how I can be charged with obstruction for filming a cop.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
So I'm asking a much more basic question. You do not have to agree with this. This is
Do I
simply
understand I'm in
how-
charge with the misdemeanor? I do
Yes.
understand I'm in charge
Okay,
with the
that's
misdemeanor.
literally it.
I have trial tomorrow for the exact same thing 1 year ago.
In this jurisdiction?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to get into any of that.
Sure.
Today, we're just here for purposes of this. It's a very procedural type of thing today for the arraignment. So you do understand what you got charged with. You do not have to agree with this. This is just an allegation. So you don't need me to read it to you.
I don't.
Okay, very good. And are you planning on hiring an attorney to represent yourself?
I will have a standby attorney for this case
You will have a standby
Yes.
attorney. Okay.
because I think that I'm going to win this easy. It's on film and I wasn't obstructing
Okay.
anybody.
All right, Mr.
Is this
Castro.
the prosecutor, Matthew B.
Okay,
Walker?
let me do my part first, and then we can get into what it is. So, because I need to know, are you proceeding on your own? Do you want to have an attorney? Because I will give you time to talk to an attorney on your own if that's the route that you would like to go.
I will have a standby attorney for
Okay.
this case.
So typically, I would set this for a pre-trial to give you an opportunity to obtain discovery and for your attorney to find out whatever all is associated with this.
Sure.
So I can set that over for a pre-trial date to give you the opportunity to do that. Would you like to do that?
Great.
Okay, and then, what is it that you need to tell me without talking about the facts?
I just need to know if this is the prosecutor's name. Is that the person prosecuting, Matthew B. Walker?
That is a good question. I will tell you that the city attorney is Jeffrey Durakat, and that's the person's name on the upper left-hand corner of the complaint. Matthew Walker is a
Linda, is everything coming through okay? Sure. I don't want any glitches when this comes up here in a few minutes. Because I think, I'm not sure, maybe I don't understand this text. Okay, I think that's a confirmation from Tina.
deputy city attorney who actually prosecutes this case, depends on the office.
I'm going to sue him for malicious prosecution.
Okay.
I'm going to sue everybody involved. I'm going to sue the cops.
So,
I'm going to
Mr.
sue the
Castro,
county.
I appreciate you have an opinion. Today's just the
I
arraignment.
got you. I got you.
Saying all these things,
you're
we're
just-
here
you're
for
just
your
kidding.
misdemeanor case.
She has to
But
tell the
there's a
world.
there's a bigger issue. There's transparency in the courtroom, which is the best thing that could possibly happen.
That's
Now the
fine.
people get to hear that I'm going to sue Jeffrey and I'm going to sue Matthew and I'm going to sue
So
every one
here's
of
what
those
we're not gonna
cops.
do, Mr. De Castro. This is not going to be a personal pulpit for your,
That a girl.
philosophical difference or belief. You have the media here, and that's fine. This is
Great.
an open court.
It's
But
great.
I don't want you to start saying things too far extraneous for purposes of this misdemeanor charge, because
Well-
that's what, no, do not interrupt me. Because that's what we're here for, okay? So here's the thing, I'm recording everything, and you need to be aware that that's a two-sided thing. You're representing yourself, so I'm having this conversation with you. All these statements that you're saying can also potentially be used against you because you're getting recorded. So just so you understand. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm assuming you're entering a not guilty plea,
Does the
correct?
misdemeanor carry jail time?
Possibly, yes.
Possible jail time. So you said a second ago that this is a misdemeanor case as though it's something minor, but I can be put in a dungeon and locked away.
Okay. In no way
So that's true.
did I imply that this was minor
Okay.
by
Yeah, it's a big
saying
deal.
that it's a
It's a
misdemeanor.
big deal.
Okay,
Okay,
Mr.
thanks.
DeCastro, let's not get off on the wrong foot. I have my job to do, and I'm not trying to engage
His
in a
presence
conversation that's
is enough to
adversarial
get off
today.
on the
No,
wrong
I'm
foot.
not trying to
I would
either. I'm not trying. I like you a lot. I think you look like a real nice person.
Okay.
I got nothing against you
So we're
personally.
gonna end on a not guilty plea
Thank
on
you.
your behalf
Thank
today. I'm gonna reset this for a pretrial. I do need to understand, because you said you were gonna have standby counsel, so are you going to represent yourself primarily, or do you wanna have that conversation, come back with your attorney? Because there's certain procedural things I'll need to do to protect due process and your due process, if you wanna go ahead and represent yourself.
Right. No, I'm going to have a standby attorney, and that has to do with a few different things. But I should probably consult with my attorney before I say anything, because it could be used against me later.
Absolutely, yeah, that's fine, and I would rather that you protect yourself, because we're recording, and that is where I'm coming from and the kind of conversations and comments that I'm making to you today. So you are obviously entitled to represent yourself, that is your right. But let's do this, let's get you a pretrial date, and that date, ordinary course.
That's right,
for
Linda.
private attorney
You're
will
absolutely
be
right.
May 1st at 1:30.
May 1st at 1:30.
I think I have.
Do you need a different date?
I may. I may need a different date because I
That's
have a
stupid laugh.
different thing in Indiana. I'm just not sure. Can I just look in my phone real
Of
quick
course.
at my
Oh
calendar
yeah,
here?
yeah. Look at this calendar. I have lawsuits in Indiana, Judge.
And Your Honor, I have absolutely nothing against you. I'm not in any way adversarial to you at
Okay,
all.
I'm glad to hear that,
I
Mr.
just,
DeCastro,
you know,
because we may be
yeah,
on this case
Yeah,
for
I
a
have
while.
nothing against
Okay.
you. I don't know you. You seem like a nice person to me. I couldn't possibly hold anything against you personally. So I'm just looking for the date that I have in Indiana.
What
I
up,
sue lots of
Greg?
cops all around the country. I help sue lots of cops around the country if they violate
Thomas,
people's
hello.
rights. So I have a case in Indiana, but I'm just looking for the date. And that May 1st,
Yes, at 1:30.
can't talk, I'm in
I
court.
quit. George from Southeast
Judge is looking at
Michigan.
me.
Welcome.
Is it easier if I give you a different date and then you look at that?
Well, I'm just not sure if it's May 1st or June 1st. I'm just gonna go there because I'm assisting with the financing of filing a federal civil rights lawsuit against these cops who arrested this man for filming cops. So I just want to make sure that I'm there when that happens. It's a lot of work, so he's texting me back right now. I'll know the date in 1 second. I hate to waste any of these people's time
You're
at all
not wasting
whatsoever.
anyone's time.
I just want to make sure that
Bag of dicks. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one and only Dick Bag Patrol with his bag of dicks.
What's up? You got a funny way of telling time.
How's that? Why?
I thought we were going live at 6, but then I saw your
No,
text. I guess
6:50. No, I went live at 6.
6
went live.
your time.
Well, yeah, but I can't help it if you live in a strange part of the world.
Yeah, but it's always 6 o'clock my time, isn't it?
No, it's 6 o'clock my time.
I don't think I'm gonna have to go back and look at the. I don't buy that.
Well, I was originally going to go live at 8 o'clock,
Right,
and then I put up on the post
6 o'clock my time.
since they're going to premiere the video.
Yeah.
At 20 minutes after 6 my time, I'm going live now, which was 6 o'clock my time, which would be 4 o'clock your time. But I'll send you a little map of the time zones if you like. Here,
That's
hold on.
quite all right.
Gerhardt, what's up? Vespiati or versus Piatti or Vespiati or and then Icus.
Yeah, not much is going on today.
No, geez.
Slow news day.
Yeah, it's been kind of anticlimactic though, because I spent all afternoon. Well, we talked. You're trying to find something, anything that might be released, and should have known that that they would get it put together and announce it.
Well, yeah, they were going to try and get it together as soon as possible, but you just never know with these things. So.
I've had the Las Vegas Police Department inmate search engine. I've been checking it about every 15 minutes all afternoon just to try to confirm that he was booked.
Oh yeah, cuffed and stuffed.
Unclean hands, my man. You doing good? You had an appointment the other day. Hope everything went well. You're here, so that's great.
Yes, this is a good day.
See, mother of pearl.
If we had a balcony, we could throw money to the peasants.
All right, where are we at here? Oh, it starts here in a couple minutes. I better keep my eye out on it, huh? Should get a notification. Should. Let me go ahead and stop that. Yeah, him and this judge here, man. They both of them. You saw the teaser they put out on the premiere. She just flat had Chille's number. And then I heard the prosecuting attorney say something
Wait,
about.
you're talking about the one at the arraignment?
Well, the teaser for tonight, Judge Zimmerman. They ran like a 5-minute teaser a while ago, and the prosecuting attorney recommended the 90 days be suspended. That was the last thing they said. So
it's kind of amazing that the prosecutor was asking just for probation and a fine, which is what, and then it looks like she just throws the fucking book at him.
Yeah, good for her.
A couple books. I mean,
yeah, no shit.
Hey,
Tonto.
I predicted, well,
Thomas.
I didn't predict this. Somebody smarter than me said he's probably going to do jail time. And I was like, really? You think so? And they told me, yeah. And I said, okay, you're smart. I'm if you say so. And sure enough.
How'd your poll come out?
Mostly that he would go to jail, which surprised me. You lose faith, especially because you see the prosecutor is just asking for a slap on the wrist for this asshole after they've been informed. Their office has been informed.
Oh, they know. They know what's going on.
What a fucking dirtbag is. He's habitual. And they still just ask for minimum. I don't know. I mean, surely they also know he's due back for the same thing already.
Well, they won't have he won't be able to call in sick, will he?
That's for sure.
Linda voted for Corey Feldman.
Yeah, that's always a solid choice. He usually gets about 12%. Although I think he may have beat Chille will show up to court last time. I'll have to go check. Yeah, shocking turn of events. But I knew one of the reasons that it seemed plausible he would go back to jail is because he just has been getting this judge's goat, up to and including playing hooky from court, lying about it to go. So luckily she looked into the matter or thought heavily about it and came up with what I think is the appropriate sentence.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for more. I mean, that's pretty well max.
No, yeah, that's like
can't ask for more than that.
That's like every Christmas present you could ever want at once.
Oh, and this means so much to everybody that's busted their balls making videos on this jackass.
Yeah, I'm certainly pleased.
I know you are.
I mean, I don't really have to think about him too much for the next 6 months.
No, concentrate on Kaiser.
Well, that too. Yeah, one down, one to go. Yeah, I mean,
How many? How many? One down, one to go. Okay, I'm with you.
yeah, Chille down.
That's
Hydra
an
to go.
absolute contempt.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right, Stephen. I mean, he's got contempt for everybody, unless you're sending money, and even then, it's questionable.
yeah, he managed to piss off that other judge yesterday, and 5 seconds flat.
Did everybody, Linda, throw a link up to DP's channel in case anybody in here didn't catch Dick Bag's video he posted last night?
Yeah, sorry, it came out late, but I've had other editing I've had to be doing to live. So I came out a little later than I wanted, first of all, and also I guess I didn't really get a good chance to scrounge around and look at the other. I recorded all that stuff about a week ago, so I didn't have time to go back and change a lot.
You
of
know
it.
what though? The timing's perfect when you think about it.
Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's fine.
It
It's
worked out.
just
It
to let
worked
you
out
know.
great.
Well, I'm just saying, like, some of you guys have already seen that information, and it's not the only reason it was redacted in the video is because whoever originally went and got those documents redacted it until they knew what was up, and went through the rest of them. I guess they just let those out first. But if you guys haven't gone over and seen the whole package, which actually I haven't even done that yet.
Well, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it here after this. So
Watch what?
your video.
Why?
Because
I've seen it.
well, that doesn't mean everybody has.
Maybe. Yeah, we
We got a live show to fill, so that's one of the things I wanted to look at. We always go back through and watch videos.
Sure.
Get the conversation in that direction. Hey, Joseph. Yeah, Unclean Hands said that his his channel is stating that in 18 hours he's going to have a premiere. Oh, what a dumbass. Yeah, they may. He's got new people in there running his channel now, I think.
Well, I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm assuming most of the rest of us in here feel the same.
This thing should be kicking off here.
Okay, I'll keep your eye on it.
Well, no, it should be. I'm waiting for a notification.
I mean, it kind of gives you a tiny little bit of glimmer of hope for things when shit like this happens.
Wouldn't that be the shits if this was an Irish demon troll job? No. He's not that good.
No.
He's good, but not that good.
Chille doesn't need help fucking himself up. It's just it's just waiting for the rest of the system to catch up with him, or catching the wrong person, and that's what finally happened here. The judge just saw through it.
Yep.
It was like with DUI guy and Chris the other night. It's like, okay, you caught a smart person who doesn't buy your bullshit. This is what that looks like. These people, that's a problem with all these guys, man. They just they love huffing their own farts. They get used to the smell, and then they think, it's all going to last forever. But I guess it shows you can only be so dumb for so long before something bad happens.
Tonto.
Am I right, folks?
He is a celebrity.
Who? Chille? Yeah.
No, you. I just
Me?
the comment from Tonto. I just put up
Get
on
the fuck out of here.
Come on, people.
Are you talking? Are you like
Talking to Nevada courts. Now,
All right.
now I'm tempted to slip over. I'm waiting on the notification, hoping I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, you should. Don't you have the tab? Like, aren't you watching it in another?
I'm watching. I've got two browsers. I got another browser on it here. Let me see what's going on.
It's catching me really off guard.
Live. It doesn't show it live yet, so unless they're gonna have it as a premiere video. Nope,
No. Okay.
not yet.
Yeah, this is throwing my schedule off here. It was. Yeah. Give me a second. I gotta figure out how to do something. Tell everybody that joke you know.
Yeah. Hang on here. I'll make sure. Yeah, this. Well, nothing. Nada. Just waiting on a notification, people. Videos. This is crazy. Dexter, Java Man, thanks for being here. It's you know what? It's 7:30. It said 20 minutes a while ago, but I don't think it's got to be set up for 7.
Who said what time?
I just going off the notification that I got. It said in 30 minutes, and I got it at 5 minutes to before the hour, so I figured it was 25 after. I bet it's 7:30.
I think the top math's different when you were growing up.
At least I'm in the right time zone.
Touche.
What
Right.
if California slides apart from the rest of the continent? What happens to the time zone? I guess you still have mountain.
I don't know. Hopefully, I won't be here. when that
Spider-Man.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arizona Bay.
Yeah, that's a good question, Spider-Man. I wonder where he will be doing his time. It surely would be in a county.
So sorry, I'm trying to get over to the chat. I was gonna do this on my laptop with my good mic and everything, but this is
Hello,
just
Tombstones.
going. Things have gone nutty. Yeah, I feel like we should. I think we should
No,
send
not
Chille
me.
some kind of care package.
Sure.
What do you guys think? What could we include in there?
Poop cushion.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do wonder if whether he'll be allowed his little hemorrhoid pillow, or
his little.
Whether it'll be a human hemorrhoid pillow.
They'll probably make him wear it around his neck.
Maybe. We could always get him a harmonica.
God.
6 months. Yeah. We could send him a card at least, I feel like.
All right, it's now officially 7:30.
Yeah, that's the problem is they could be having video issues too.
Could be. They need me there to rectify that.
You watch. It won't go on till 6. Then you're going to feel stupid.
6 your time?
Yeah. But it's nice to see everybody. Glad you're here for this. I'm speechless still. I'm still kind of like, am I dreaming? Did I wake up this morning? Some kind of lucid dream or something? It really is too much to hope for.
Oh, so he's on the Clark County, Nevada inmate lookup. See, I was looking in the Vegas jail. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Would be Clark County. Misdemeanor would be served out in the county. I don't know why I thought they'd process him in the city.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Because he went straight from the courthouse, which all the bailiffs are all county. So, okay. Richie Rich.
Oh god, that's brutal. Somebody said, Tonto said, send him a Blu-ray of Midnight Express. I'm sure he's seen it. Or Deliverance.
Deliverance. Oh,
Thanks, Tella.
come on.
Yeah, Tella, you were one of the first people I watched with your Glenn Serio videos.
Yep.
He seems to kind of popped up there for a second and then disappeared again.
I used to visit Tella's page all the time under my other channel name. Matter of fact, I made some contributions to them. She did good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, one of the first I saw too.
He seems to have gone away for good now.
Yeah, he kind of made a reappearance there for a brief moment and had those couple airport videos where he was trying to con his way. So I don't know if he's trying to sleep in the airport or what. Where he was.
Yeah, he hit the skid. Now, I had a written correspondence with somebody. I don't know if it was on Discord. I don't remember now, but somebody was saying they worked with Glenn. Glenn used to work for like Boeing or somebody like that. He had a pretty good job, and he started becoming abusive to people at work and stuff like that. And I don't know, but it's possible these guys do have something rotting their brains away, and they gradually all become more and more disturbed over time. All these frauditors. I mean, Chille's been on a downhill slope.
Honeywell, tell us that
For
he
a
worked
while.
at Honeywell.
Honeywell, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think I did a video on him where he was standing in the street and he worked with it was like an Asian cop was one of the cops that responded, and he knew him from working at Honeywell. I remember him talking about that in the video because he said that the cop didn't like him. He was biased. Of course, he didn't like him.
Yeah,
Hey, Tay Marie. Yeah, we went on early because of the supposed premiere here of Chille's court.
Yeah.
Which we're sitting here waiting on.
We sure are.
The last notification I got, let's see what it says. Our Nevada Judge Inc. premiering in 30 minutes, and that was at 5 minutes of 6 Central Time. It says 49 minutes ago. So
they weren't just talking about the little premiere thing they did.
No, all that was like a teaser. Premiere will begin shortly, 7:30 p.m. It's 7:35. And that's the update. Yeah, they're probably pushing it, trying to get it done. We know how that goes.
We?
I know how that goes. Hey, Terry.
Yeah, this is well, the whole situation is going to be interesting. What is going to happen to Chille's channel? How much communication with the outside is he allowed? Is he even able to communicate effectively enough with whatever poor sap he roped into running his stuff? Is he going to go broke from legal fees now? Overextending himself? Do they allow him a cell phone in jail? I saw some blurb about Michael Mee taking possession of 2 of his cell phones.
Mel says, I don't even know what we're waiting for, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're starting to wonder ourselves.
My butthole's puckering and unpuckering as we
The
speak.
pucker.
Yeah,
This is much fun as trying to locate a nutsack on a snake.
yeah, right. A lot of questions, but yeah, it should be interesting watching. Chille said something about it, thinking that this was going to take a couple days. His whole trial. I was trying to picture how that could be.
Yeah, puppy. Those neck rolls look a lot alike, don't they? Yeah, Linda, you're right. But
funny,
somebody
Tonto.
else was running this channel, I think, Turtle Boys, wasn't it? I'm sure Chille's got somebody in place there. He wasn't anticipating this, I don't think, because he's always gotten away with everything. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He certainly wasn't.
I'm sure everybody told him, don't worry about it. I love it.
I was pretty convinced he was going to jail. I just figured it'd be for a couple of weeks to show him what's up.
Well, I heard a rumor about an hour and a half ago, and I don't know how anybody would know this, but apparently he threw a fit. So
In the court? Oh, that's good.
In the courtroom, yes.
Well, was that video, Tonto? He said, wow, this is just like 40 years ago when he waited for the MTV
Right.
of a Billy Squier video.
Yeah.
Was that Rock Me Tonight by any chance? Because was that the one that ruined his career? Billy Squier actually, one of his videos, I found out, just torpedoed his whole career because he was the director of it had him like kind of prancing around and they were in an apartment and they were like satin sheets and it was kind of feminine and sort of not of the hard rock image at the time. So he sort of kind of looked a little fruity, I guess.
Okay, now I just got a notification. Premiere will begin shortly, March 19th, 2024 at 7:37 p.m. and it's 7:39. So they're pushing it just minutes at a time now. Here we go. We're processing the video.
Okay.
Oh, check back later.
God damn it.
Oh,
God
Lord.
damn it.
Oh, let me share this just so everybody knows I'm not full of shit.
Well, that could still be true. You could still be full of shit.
Not about this. All right. That's some shit. All right. So in the meantime, I just don't want to be playing something miss it. So what I was going to do was play I already played the hearing yesterday. We can watch last month's hearing on him, or we can watch your video. That's what we'll do. Nah, shut up.
I don't know what
Just shut up.
I just watched it.
Well, I'm sorry. You gotta play along.
There's another guy that's been doing AI Chille voice. I don't know what program he's using, but it's better than mine.
Probably because he was willing to pay for his.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay to replicate Chille's fucking voice. Fuck that. So his channel is Men Daysome. I don't know if anybody has seen any of his stuff, but he's got some pretty funny little videos. Hang on one second, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Our wacky little elf friend. I realize that's really unfair to elves. I mean, elves are industrious, hardworking folk, full of cheer and joy. The same could not be said of Chille. Now, Chille says and does so much outrageous shit, and so often, that you kind of grow numb to it after a bit. But sometimes his truly vile nature is thrown into such glaring relief that it truly makes you sick to your stomach. This is one of those times. I was forwarded parts of some documents. One was a restraining order request against Chille from his ex-girlfriend in 2003. The next appears to be another restraining order request from 2003 or 2004, but as I can't see the whole document yet, I'm not 100% sure. The next is another request from 2004. Then there is a report from 2006 detailing how Chille violated the protection orders multiple times. And finally, part of a request to extend the restraining order to the maximum amount. Prepare to be sick.
Describe any injuries.
Bruises on hip and leg from trying to hold door closed from his kicking.
Did the police come?
Yes.
If yes, did they give you an emergency protective order?
No.
Describe other abuse against you or your children.
Jose broke into my apartment in October 2003 through the balcony door, came inside and threw me into a wall, choked me, hit me, kicked me, spit on me in my face and assaulted, redacted. He punched, redacted, and threw him into a wall. Jose was yelling the entire time threatening to kill me and redacted. Jose also destroyed some of my personal property and destroyed sentimental items. He kicked a hole in my bedroom door at this time. He stayed in my parking garage all night waiting for us to come and go and chase us in his car while we were.
End of available document. What did the person in 2 do or say to you that made you feel afraid?
Jose was on my balcony for about 20 minutes before we noticed he was there. He threw a lighter at the door and scared us all. Then he ran from the back balcony to the door of my apartment and tried to get me to come outside. Jose climbed a wall to get to my balcony. He was yelling, threatening profanity outside and threatening to kick all of our asses when we left. He attempted to open a second balcony door on the bedroom balcony. There are 2 balconies.
Sentence cut off.
Where, redacted, was asleep on the bed. The curtains were open so Jose saw, redacted, asleep in the bed and tried to get in the room.
Describe any injuries.
Emotional distress.
Did the police come?
Yes.
If yes, did they give you an emergency protective order?
No.
What did the person in 2 do or say to you that made you feel afraid?
Jose
Sorry, Team Marie. We're just trying to burn some time here. They've got YouTube has the video now, and it says that they're processing it, so it should be just moments away now. Just burning some time here.
pounded on front door of my apartment so hard he cracked my door. The crack is still on my door. When he realized I wouldn't let him in, he went to the balcony and broke down 4 sheets of plexiglass that were encasing my balcony, because I had cats, in order to get in. He attempted to open the balcony door and was not successful. He was threatening to kill us both and threatening to do things to our cars. Then he tried to calmly talk redacted into coming outside to talk.
Mr. DeCastro has violated the order in excess of 10 times by placing phone calls, leaving voicemails, sending text messages.
There we go.
This it?
Five.
I haven't heard all your places yet. Okay.
Good morning, Agnes Botello for the state.
Are you Mr. DeCastro?
Amen.
Can you turn off your phone, please? The one that's in your hand?
Just communicating with my lawyer. He's on his way here now. I'm just waiting for him to get there.
All right, I'm gonna wait for your attorney, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All right, Jose DeCastro, 23 Sierra 013015.
Good morning, Your Honor, Agnes Botello of the case for the record. Good morning, state.
Good morning, Michael, me on behalf of the defendant's president.
Looking good, buddy. Looking real sharp.
So I have signed 2 media requests that permit recording or photographing these proceedings, but I have not granted any other requests to record or live stream these proceedings. So I need Mr. DeCastro and everybody else who wants to stay in the courtroom to surrender their phones, or you can leave.
Are your phone covered and I'll take one for you.
I need Mr. DeCastro to empty all of his pockets.
What's that?
Empty your pockets.
and give up your phone.
Oh, man.
Did you get my phone?
Yeah.
My phone's actually completely off.
Oh, man.
I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel. So,
You already are.
great.
You already are.
Awesome.
Wow.
I'll give this guy up. I'll give him someone else.
No,
Touch him myself.
no, they're gonna go to my marshal. Excuse me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm not gonna permit you to speak to anybody in my courtroom in that manner. And if you don't want to apologize, I'm gonna hold you in contempt.
I apologize to the court, Your Honor.
No, you can apologize to, they've done nothing to you.
Actually, Your Honor, when you were here, you came over and gave me a directive for no reason and started telling me what to do.
Okay,
I
well,
have all the respect.
Wow.
It's his courtroom, asshole.
no, it is
Control.
their job to maintain the safety and security of the courtroom.
I agree with you, Your Honor.
So if you want to speak like that in my courtroom, I'm gonna hold you in contempt.
Now we know
If I
why.
hold you in contempt, you're going to jail. That is not my wish. Okay?
I wish you could.
All right. So I need you to empty your pockets too. Suit pocket, pants pocket.
This is illegal. This is a violation.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it is. I don't have any recording devices on me. What are you talking about?
How about suit jacket?
I don't have anything on me. This is preposterous.
No, it's
This
not.
really is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Me, your phone too. Oh.
They're recording everything.
They have a media request.
Right, and I'm not recording anything. Is it your guy here took my phone, so his phone's not on?
Searching.
You can take the lawyer's phone too?
I thought he might be sleeping in that suit, and it sure looks like it, doesn't it?
All right. Do we have everybody's phones? Are they off? All right, good. All right. All right, this is the time set for the trial of State of Nevada versus Jose DeCastro, 23 CR 013015. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
How many witnesses do you have?
We anticipate one.
All right, is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I have your request to convert counsel to standby counsel. I'm going to deny that request. Either you represent him or he should have previously requested a Faretta canvas to represent himself. That I just consider that a delay tactic, so that request is denied. Are you
Ooh.
ready to proceed? Otherwise, I'm assuming you are.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, will the state please call the first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Brandon Bork, and he's in the anteroom.
Bork, bork, bork. Sorry.
Morning.
You're gonna remain standing. Raise your right hand to be sworn down. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please be seated. State your name for the record and spell it first and last name, please.
It's Brandon Bork. Brandon is Branden. Bork, Bourque.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, how are you employed?
I'm a police officer with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
How long have you been employed with Metro?
Just over 8 years.
What is your, what's your occupation there? Like, where are you assigned?
I currently am a field training officer at Summer Area Command.
Okay. And so are you a patrol officer
Yes, ma'am.
that also trains newer officers?
Yes.
Were you employed with Metro? I'm assuming you are, because you've been employed for 8 years, back on March 15th of 2023.
Yes, I was.
Were you a patrol officer at that time?
Yes, I was.
As a patrol officer, do you wear a uniform?
Yes, I do.
Can you describe the uniform?
It would be the same uniform I'm wearing today.
Okay, so for the record, you're wearing a tan uniform with the logos, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department located throughout your shirt.
Yes.
Okay. As a patrol officer, do you have access to or utilize a marked patrol vehicle?
Yes.
And can you describe what this marked patrol vehicle looks like?
It's black and white in color and it has the LVMPD's logo on all sides.
Okay. And is it also equipped with like lights and sirens?
Yes.
And so you were employed as a patrol officer back on March 15th of 2023.
Yes.
At some point in time, did you conduct a traffic stop while you were working in that capacity
Yes, I did.
on that date?
Yes.
Okay. And was that for a vehicle bearing license plate 748Z, like zebra, T like Tom, B like boy?
Yes.
And why did you stop that vehicle?
I had conducted a DMV records check on that license plate and it came back expired and suspended.
And where is it that you stopped that vehicle?
It was 4155 South Grand Canyon, which was near Target.
Okay. Is that over on Flamingo and Grand Canyon?
Yes.
Okay, and that's here in Las Vegas, Clark County, Nevada, sir?
Yes.
And you indicated it was for a license plate that was expired and suspended?
Yes.
So when you initiated the traffic stop, what did you do or how did you do that?
I approached the driver, let her know the reason for the stop, obtained her identifying information, registration, insurance.
Okay, and I forgot to ask you earlier, but pursuant to your uniform and as a patrol officer, are you equipped with a body worn camera?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And do you also have a radio?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And are those items, both the body worn camera and the radio, on your uniform today?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And is that how the body worn camera and or the radio were on your uniform back on March 15th of 2023?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, was your body worn camera functioning at that time?
Yes, it was functioning.
Okay. And so you made contact with the driver of that Hyundai.
Yes, I did.
How would you characterize the nature of your encounter or the nature of your encounter with that driver?
She was cooperative with me. I explained the reason for the stop. She seemed confused, not sure exactly how it had become suspended, but she was friendly and cooperative.
Okay, and she identified herself.
She did. She had a picture of her license on her phone.
Okay. And at some point, sir, did you go back to your patrol vehicle to further your investigation?
I did.
And as you were, let me ask you this. When you
Here it
effectuated the
comes.
traffic stop on this vehicle, where did you park or stop your vehicle in relation to the Hyundai that you were stopping?
I parked approximately 10, 15 feet behind the stop vehicle. We ended up in a parking lot.
Okay. And was the driver the sole occupant of the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you returned to your patrol vehicle to conduct your further investigation, was the driver within eyesight?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And is it your habit and custom and also your training to keep the individual that you are, dealing with within eyesight?
Yes.
And so at some point while you were still in your vehicle, in your patrol vehicle, did something occur that's causing you to have to testify before Judge Zimmerman today?
Yes, I had an unrelated person come over to start recording the traffic stop.
Okay. And we talked about your body worn camera previously, but did you activate your body worn camera prior to the traffic stop?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Or, just before you initiated the traffic stop?
I initiated the stop and then I immediately activated my camera.
Okay. And how is it that body worn camera is activated on your uniform, sir?
I have a battery pack that's on my belt in the front, and I press the activation button, which is in the front.
Okay, and so is it just a tap of that activation button?
It's a double tap on the front, yes.
Okay, and how is it that you would stop recording?
I would hold down that same power button,
Okay,
or it can be turned off. There's a toggle switch on the top that slides on and off.
okay. Okay, and so your body worn camera was running as of, the traffic stop being initiated?
Yes,
Okay. And so you described an unrelated individual coming over to, your stop.
yes.
Okay, can you describe this individual?
He was a white male adult. He was wearing
I
a
can.
colored hoodie and blue jeans.
Okay. That individual, do you see him here in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you please point to him and describe something he's wearing?
He's wearing a suit and a blue tie.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect identification of the defendant.
So ordered.
And so what do you do upon seeing this individual approach the driver of the vehicle you had stopped?
Initially, when I saw him, he was just recording. I ignored him, continued my records check. Then when he came over to the driver and started speaking to them, I got out of the car, approached the driver, and told DeCastro to back up.
Okay. When you first noticed, so you identified the unknown or unrelated male subsequently, correct?
Yes,
And what was his name?
Jose DeCastro?
Okay. And that's the individual you identified here in court.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you first laid eyes on the defendant, approximately how far away was he from the driver of the vehicle in the Hyundai?
Approximately somewhere within 5 to 10 feet.
Okay. And you indicated that he was recording?
Yes.
Okay. What did you see that led you to believe he was recording?
He had his cell phone camera pointed directly at me.
Okay. And so is that when, upon seeing him being that close to the driver, is that when you told him, you walked up to the driver of the stopped vehicle and asked Mr. DeCastro to back up?
Yes, once he started talking with the driver.
Okay. And why is it that you did that, officer?
Well, I can't have unrelated people next to my traffic stops. I don't know if he's a dangerous person, armed. He could be a boyfriend of the stopped person. It's for my safety and the safety of the person I've stopped.
Okay. Because you're also in charge of the safety of the individual that this unrelated individual is making contact with. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And so you saw it as an officer safety issue as well as a safety issue for the driver?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you approached, well, you said he was recording, the defendant was recording. At any time, did you tell him to stop recording?
No, in fact, I told him he can continue recording.
Okay. He can continue to record given what?
As long as he backed up and gave me an appropriate distance to work.
Okay. And so when you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay. And so what did you do next?
I gave him 3 additional warnings to back up.
Okay. And did he obey those orders?
No, he did not.
And what, if anything, did you do with the driver of the stopped vehicle, the Hyundai?
At that point, I chose to release the driver of the Hyundai and then focus my attention on Jose DeCastro.
Okay. And for the record, officer, at that point in time, were you the only uniformed officer, the only officer present at the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
And so at this point, you were dealing with the stop driver as well as an unrelated individual and having to make contact or maintain visual of both.
Yes,
And at that point, the defendant was not being cooperative.
correct, yes.
Okay. So you release the driver of the Hyundai. What do you tell that person to let her go?
I just said that she was free to go. Simply.
And
I gotta go deal with this
turn your
asshole.
attention on the defendant.
Yes,
And can you tell Judge Zimmerman the nature of your interaction with the defendant after that?
I ordered DeCastro to the front of my patrol vehicle while pointing at it and told him that he was detained
And what was the purpose of detaining him?
for obstructing my initial traffic stop at the Hyundai.
And did he obey your lawful order?
No, he did not.
And what happened next?
He continued filming me. I continued pointing toward my patrol vehicle, continued telling him he was detained. All the while, he just continued shifting his body around, recording me on the phone, and refusing to go to the car.
Okay, so what did you do in response?
I used my hand to escort him to the patrol vehicle. So I placed my hand on his shoulder, and at that point, he swatted my hand away.
And what happened next?
That's when I grabbed him by the shirt, and I spun him around, and then we ended up at the front of my patrol vehicle. We were both still standing.
At some point, did you request additional units to?
Wish they'd put camera on Chille. I
wish
want
that
to
was
see the
before I grabbed
steam coming out of his
him.
ears.
Okay, and, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
Once you
kidding.
had him at your patrol vehicle, or the front, the hood of your patrol vehicle, what happened next?
Officer Dingley, another officer in the area, had arrived, and he came over to help me handcuff.
And were you successful, or did the defendant cooperate in being handcuffed?
He did not cooperate. I told him 7 times to face my patrol vehicle. He did not listen. I told him 6 times to turn around. He did not listen. It wasn't until I told him that he was going to go to jail, that was the consequence of not listening, that he allowed us to handcuff.
Okay. And after he was handcuffed, when he was handcuffed, was it just you and Officer Dingle present?
Yes.
Once he was handcuffed, what if anything happened next?
He continued to argue with my partners, Officer Dingley and some other officers that were starting to show up. And then I focused my roles in completing the report and calling the sergeant because he requested a supervisor.
Okay. And at some point, was he arrested for account of obstructing a public officer?
Yes.
And also for resisting a public officer or resisting arrest?
Yes.
And was he, at any point in time during your interaction with him or your continued visual of his interaction with other officers, did he cooperate with any of the officers present at the scene?
No, he kept shifting around, and normally we have people stand still in front of our car, and I could hear him arguing with the other officers.
You indicated you had your body worn camera turned on at this time.
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to look at your body worn camera prior to court today?
Yes, I did.
I were to show you a snippet of it, and Your Honor, we're gonna be screen sharing through Zoom. Takes a minute. Okay. Officer, are you able to see, there's not a screen over there, so I might have to bring mine over to you with the court's permission. Okay. Okay. Officer, I'm showing you my computer screen. Is it fair to say that what's being shared on the screen as well as what's showing up on my computer screen are 2 files, one labeled 416b.mp4, the other one labeled 468, number sign 1.mp4.
Yes.
Okay. I am just gonna, and for the record, Your Honor, all body worn camera footage have been disclosed to the defense well in advance of today's trial. I'm gonna just show you a brief snippet of The one labeled 468 underscore number sign 1.mp4, do you recognize what's depicted here?
Yes, this is the initial Hyundai that I had stopped on traffic stop.
Okay, and so do you recognize this particular file as the body worn camera of your interaction first with the Hyundai and then the defendant on March 15th of 2023?
Yes,
Okay, and does this show the time that you activated your camera?
yes,
Okay, similar to what you testified to earlier?
yes,
And you've had an opportunity to see this entire 12 and a half minute long video, is that right?
yes,
Does it fairly and accurately depict the traffic stop and also your interaction with the defendant on the date and time that we've been discussing,
yes,
at the location that we've been discussing?
yes,
Okay, Your Honor, I move to admit and subsequently publish the file labeled 468 underscore number sign 1.mp4.
Spence,
No objection.
admitted and published.
Thank you. And let me just join up. Very loud. Is the mic- Yeah, it's the mic.
Sounds
What's
like
going
I'm
on?
running their live
Permission
stream.
to just put it up here. Away from the microphone.
I got nothing to do with it. I'm innocent.
The fuck is that?
They're having some kind of feedback. I wonder if somebody has a recording device in their suit.
Or somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. Abort, abort. That's what it is. They got an echo going.
Dude, they gotta sort that out.
It's got its butt.
They need to sort that out, man.
Yeah.
Do you have the physical one or? Should you bring it with you? Okay. Sure, I'll be right back.
I'm gonna pause it at timestamp 9 minutes and 16 seconds. At this point, officer, do you see the unrelated male that you've been talking about enter a camera view?
Yes, I do.
And could you just point to where he is in the video on my screen?
Yes, he's right
And let the record reflect he identified a male wearing like a light colored blue jacket towards the middle of the screen. And is this the individual that you have been talking about, the defendant here today?
here. Yes.
Continue.
Don't engage my driver, back up. Hey, back up. Back up, you're not involved. You can tell me, you need to stay away from my driver. Back up. Back up for a minute, please. You're obstructing. Get away from my car stop. Okay, listen. She deserves privacy. This is not your business. Okay. You're being detained right now. Come over my car. Come over my car. Come over my car right now. No, come over. Listen, I am gonna put my hands on you. No, you're not. Drop your arm. I gotta make sure that you guys get my people on the phone.
Officer, at 11:38, or just a little bit before, there was another officer that comes onto the screen. Who's that?
This is Officer Dingley.
And that concludes the 12-minute and 31-second video. The video marked 468_number sign 1.mp4. Officer, at some point after this interaction that we just saw, did you come to realize that your body worn camera had accidentally or inadvertently turned off?
Yes.
Okay. And at what point in time did it turn off?
It would have turned off at the completion of the video that we just saw. Prior
To what?
prior to the handcuffing.
Okay. Did you we noticed Officer Dingle show up to the scene though?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know whether he had his body worn camera turned on?
Yes, it was activated.
Okay. And so what would have been missed by the inadvertent turning off of your body worn camera would have been captured on Officer Dingle's body worn camera?
Yes.
Okay. And did I allow you to look at that video footage from Officer Dingle this morning prior to testifying here today?
Yes, you did.
And did you have an opportunity to look at it to determine whether it was in fact the video related to this event?
Yes, I looked at it and it was the video related.
Okay. And so, turn your attention now to the video labeled 416B- or .mp4. And I'm just gonna,
It says 4168.
oh, I'm sorry. Is that B or B? I think it's a B, Jim. 416B. .mp4
Okay.
or 8. And I just played the first 13 seconds, but actually I'm gonna fast forward. Now, for the record, the video is upside down. It recorded upside down? Yes?
Yes, it did.
All right. Actually,
Why would it record upside down?
Ma'am, there's a setting in the application where you can rotate it. This officer may not have checked that beforehand.
stopping or starting at 4:54 timestamp on the video that we've been talking about. Do you recognize what's depicted, at least in this still portion?
Yes, this is me and DeCastro in front of my patrol vehicle.
Okay, and so to your knowledge, and after having watched this, does this fairly and accurately depict your interaction with the defendant on March 15th of 2023 as caught on camera by Officer Dingley's body worn camera.
Yes.
Move to admit 416 B or 8 MP4.
No objection.
You know if it's an 8 or a B for sure.
It looks like a B too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I lose. All right.
Okay.
416B.MP4 will be admitted and published.
Thank you, and I'm just gonna start from 454. And may I approach you on it?
Can we move the water bottle so you can see it too?
Of course.
You can come up.
You can.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Anybody rotate it so it's right side up?
It's the video. Okay, there we go. This way.
There you go.
Can you tell me about that? Can you tell us just a little bit?
Okay, I'm gonna stop it at 11:35. So officer, did the body worn camera portions that we played, or that I played, fairly and accurately depict your interaction with the defendant on March 15th of 2023?
Yes, it did.
Concerning, I just want to talk with a little bit about what was depicted in the video. In the video from your body worn camera, it shows, you know, the state of your stop with the Hyundai driver. Do you recall that?
Yes,
Okay. And at some point prior to you making contact with the defendant, you noticed him kind of recording further away from the vehicle, correct?
yes.
And at that point in time, you didn't have a problem with that. You didn't really approach the defendant yet, correct?
Correct.
It was when he started making contact with the driver, your stopped driver, that you approached him and asked him to back up.
Yes,
And at some point in time in the video, it's recorded, you told him that he is allowed to record, but he just needed to back up.
yes.
Okay. And what was the reason for you trying to maintain, one, the lack of no contact with the stopped person, and two, trying to gain distance between the defendant, yourself, and the stopped driver?
My first intention is I wasn't trying to delay my traffic stop any longer than it had to be. I was trying to make it as short as possible for the driver. And then the second was for officer safety. What we're taught in the academy is that for a normal human's reaction time with open ground, anything within 21 feet, that suspect would be able to charge an officer without them being able to react in time.
All right. And at that point in time, you were the only officer present, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And when he began, or when the defendant failed to obey your command to back up, that's when you decided to engage him.
yes.
Okay. I have no more questions for this witness. Thank you.
Vince?
Good morning, officer. How are you doing?
Morning, sir. I'm well. How are you?
Very well. How many feet did you order the defendant to back up specifically?
I never had an opportunity to give him an exact distance.
How far back did you intend to have him back up, even if you didn't express that?
In the background of the video, you could see that there was a parked semi-truck and a light pole. I would have directed him somewhere in that area, which would have been outside the 21 feet.
Your testimony is you never told him an exact distance to back up, correct?
Yes, he never allowed me to.
What do you mean he never allowed you to?
I asked him to back up, and he continued arguing with me, so I can never specify exact distance for him.
But you had time to give him 5 commands to back up, is that correct?
Yes,
Your testimony is he never backed up when you were giving him commands, is that correct?
if he backed up, it may have been inches, but he didn't substantially back up.
And you just reviewed the body worn camera from your chest, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. You didn't notice him backing up every time you directed him to back up?
he did not back up.
So you backed up 0 feet, in your opinion? Based on that video?
Not 0 feet.
What was that?
He didn't back up 0 feet, he was moving his feet. As to exactly how far he went back, I don't know, but it wasn't substantial.
What would have been substantial in your opinion, or what do you mean by that?
I would have guided him if he wasn't arguing with me back toward the light pole and the park semi truck.
And
Would have been outside of the 21 feet. That was my goal.
So in your opinion, you have the ability, or you would in any traffic stop, ask somebody to look back 21 feet, is that correct?
Yes, for our training,
And what was that training?
that while we're conducting lawful activity, we're allowed a reasonable distance to conduct our activity.
But where do you get that 21 feet number from specifically?
That's taught to us in the academy. It's based on reaction time, normal human reaction time to a threat.
So your position is anytime you're engaged in any law enforcement activity, you would create a 21 feet perimeter?
Not necessarily, it depends on other environmental factors such as obstacles and barriers.
So your testimony is that every time you conduct a traffic stop, as long as there's no barriers, you would order a pedestrian to back up 21 feet, is that correct?
I would, yes.
What training do you have in regards to the First Amendment?
It's standard academy training.
Can you explain what that entails?
Usually includes a classroom setting, PowerPoint, taught by police officer, academy officer.
Do you remember receiving that training specifically?
Yes,
How long ago was that?
when I was first employed about 8 years ago.
Do you have any follow-up training?
Specifically on First Amendment, we've had some follow-up training regarding First Amendment auditors.
Okay, can you explain what that follow-up training was?
The follow-up training was just a refresher on the First Amendment and how the department wants to handle or react to First Amendment auditors.
In that training, did they explain any case law governing how many feet somebody has to move back or anything like that?
Objection, Your Honor, at this point, of relevance, I think it's beyond the scope of, the charges that you are to determine guilt, on at this time.
Can you tell me what's the relevance?
Yes, Your Honor. He detained the defendant after issuing commands back up a particular distance. He's testified he's received training. I should be entitled to cross-examine him about what that training is and how he's coming up with the specific numbers he's using to
I
issue.
think her objection was with respect to the case law that you're inquiring about.
Your Honor, our position is if he is issuing commands that are contrary to that case law and he's been trained on that case law, then there can't be an obstruction of justice.
So I'm going to sustain the objection and ask you to move along.
Have you had any prior issues enforcing the First Amendment?
No,
Prior to this event taking place, had you heard of Jose de Castro?
no,
Do you recall when you first heard about First Amendment auditors specifically?
Go for it.
it would have been in the academy.
So that was when you were first trained? You had heard about the auditors back then?
Yes, when we were learning about the First Amendment, they would typically bring up issues that might be a frequently seen thing. And First Amendment auditors are typically the ones that we encounter when there's First Amendment claims against us.
Do you have any belief that First Amendment auditors are likely to be violent?
Objection, relevance.
What's the relevance?
Uh,
I'm only concerned with Mr. de Castro. Okay,
Your Honor, one of the legal issues at question here is whether or not these commands are reasonable. I think that it has to be based upon his past experiences in training.
Sustained.
During this traffic stop in particular, what specific factors led you to believe there might be a danger to officer safety?
Based on his proximity to my driver, based on his demeanor being argumentative, based on his physical demeanor, his veins were popping out of his neck as he was yelling at me.
You can see his veins popping out of his neck from your back where your vehicle is.
When I was at the driver's side window, I could see that, but not in my car.
So when you see him walking up from your car, what is your specific concern regarding officer safety at that point in time?
Well, it's my safety and the safety of the driver. I don't know who this person is. I've never met him before. He could be peaceful, he could be violent, I just don't know. There's so many unknown factors. And I also have a responsibility to protect that driver. If I were in that driver's position, I wouldn't want to be approached by some random person recording me, interviewing me.
Did you ever ask the driver their opinion about whether they wanted him there or not?
No, my first step was,
Relevance.
Sustained.
Was your primary concern him speaking to the driver or him not backing up allegedly?
my primary concern was safety. I don't know if he was armed or what his intention was.
Do you presume someone is armed and dangerous just because they're in public?
I can't rule out that he's unarmed.
But you had no reason to believe he was armed on this occasion?
No, nobody had told me he was armed, and I didn't see any weapons visible, but he was wearing clothing that could have easily concealed weapons.
So when you first came upon the scene, you were in your vehicle typing on your computer, is that correct?
Yes,
And what were you doing in relation to that traffic stop at that point in time?
conducting a background check to see if her license was valid, to see if she had any criminal history to help me make my decision whether to warn her or issue citation.
You stated your belief that the driver was entitled to privacy,
I did say that.
and what do you mean by that?
Instead of continuing to give him commands to back up, I said something different to try and help him understand. She's really not entitled to privacy, but she's entitled to safety.
So your explanation is that you said that because you were just trying to convince him to back up, not because you believed?
Yes, if I continue to give the command to back up and he's not listening, I can't expect something different to happen if I just keep saying back up.
In your police report, do you recall referencing the fact that he had due notice in your opinion of what you were planning to do?
Yes, when I gave him 4 commands to back up, those do notice.
But you'll agree with me, he did not have notice as to the distance you wanted him to back up, is that correct?
That's correct.
Approximately how long were you issuing these commands to him before you decided to take it to the vet?
Approximately 15, 20 seconds.
And your testimony is you didn't have any time during the entire back and forth to tell him a specific distance to back up to?
Not time, but no opportunity.
How so?
Well, every time I tried to speak with him, he would argue he wasn't listening at all. So if he's not understanding back up, how would he explain something that was more complex?
Well, what was preventing you from saying back up to a particular location?
First, I would want him to back up, and then if he didn't back up far enough, I would give him an exact location.
But you never did, correct?
No, I never did.
Did the defendant's verbal comments towards you influence what you decided to do that day?
No,
On the video, did you see that, the point in time you decided to detain him was specifically after he made an insulting comment towards you?
that wasn't why I chose to detain him. I realized that he wasn't going to back up at that time.
His comments didn't make you angry at him?
No.
In your review of the video just now, he had both hands in front of him the entire time, is that correct?
No, at one point he reaches toward his back pocket to pull out his second phone.
Did you quickly see that it was a second phone he was going for?
Yes,
Okay. So once you see him produce the second phone in his hands, he's obviously not reaching for a weapon, is that correct?
at that time, no, he wasn't.
What time of day did this occur at?
If I remember correctly, I think it was around 4:30 in the afternoon.
And this was in a broad public place.
Yes,
Does the fact that this occurred in broad daylight in public influence your decision-making as far as issuing commands to the defendant?
it could. In this particular case, it didn't.
And why is that?
There was nobody around us other than me and the driver and DeCastro.
You testified he swatted your hand away, is that your testimony today?
Yes, that's the best way I can describe it.
And you saw his arm do this, or you just felt it?
I saw and felt it.
Do you recall in your police report stating that you did not believe his intent was to harm you?
Yes, I wrote that.
And what is your basis for reaching that conclusion?
Well, he could have been charged with battery on a police officer, which would have been more severe. But I didn't think his intent was to hurt me, so I didn't charge him with that.
You testified today that one of the things you were concerned about was him not going over to your vehicle, is that true?
Yes,
Will you agree with me that he actually did walk over to your vehicle at some point during the interaction?
yes, but it wasn't reasonable, the amount of time it took him.
What would be a reasonable amount of time?
Asking him to step in front of my car and then doing so immediately.
And how fast is it immediately?
This isn't based off of time, my response, it's just based off of interaction. I had to tell him he was detained multiple times. I made it clear what he was detained for. I said he was detained for obstructing. I gave him several commands to step in front of my car. So I would think a reasonable person would walk over to my car and then we'd have a conversation there.
And how specifically did his presence obstruct your ability to complete the traffic stop?
Again, I don't know what his intention is. I don't know if he's armed. All I saw was him recording, which, and I had no issue with. I told him I had no issue with. At some point in time, if I were to issue citation to the driver, my focus would be on the driver and what's inside her car. At that point, I hadn't pulled her out. I hadn't pat her down. I don't know if she has any weapons in the car or what her intent was, if there was anything underlying. So my intention on having DeCastro back up was so that I didn't have split attention. He was too close for me to have split attention.
So what are the things you stated that you were concerned about, I guess, from a safety point of view, was that he didn't identify himself? Is that true?
No, I didn't care about his identity until I had him detained.
Okay. At any point during the, I guess, detention of the defendant, did you pat him down to determine he didn't have any weapons?
I did.
Okay, and when was that during the duration of the interaction?
That was immediately after handcuffing.
Okay, did you discover any weapons on him?
No, I did not.
From your police car, while he's walking up, you can essentially have a complete view of his movements and what he's doing at that point in time.
Yes.
And you never saw him during that time period before you got out of your car and reached for any weapons or anything like that?
No.
Where's he going with this?
Nowhere. He's got nowhere to go.
Were there
Yeah.
other individuals around the traffic stop other than the defendant and the driver?
Not that I can remember.
Do you recall anyone walking through the scene and asking about the restaurant next door?
I don't remember that.
But your testimony is if there was someone else on the video, you would have been ordering that person to back up 21 feet.
I would have first asked them to back up, and most people do. And then if they did not comply, then I would give them a specific area to back up to.
You ordered him not to speak to the driver, is that correct?
Yes, well, I remember asking them to back up. I don't remember if I specifically asked them not to speak to the driver. I think I may have said, don't talk to her, or something to that effect.
Did he speak to her before you got out of your patrol vehicle or afterwards?
Before. I saw DeCastro filming, I stayed in my vehicle, continued my business. Then when I saw him speaking to the driver, that's when I exited.
Did you see him speak to the driver after you exited the vehicle at any point?
I don't remember if he spoke to the driver after I exited.
At any point, did you hear specifically what he may have said to the driver?
No, I was too far away and it was windy.
Is your position that anytime you're engaged in a traffic stop, nobody can speak to the driver?
They can speak to them at a reasonable distance.
And is that 21 feet?
It could be shorter, it could be longer. Again, depends on the environment, totality, the circumstances.
Do you think people can easily verbally communicate at 21 feet?
No, not without shouting.
Did at some point the defendant inform you that he was a member of the press?
He did.
Did that influence any of the orders you chose to give or not give to the defendant?
No, it doesn't matter.
Why does it not?
Bingo.
What is your basis of that statement, I guess?
Irrelevant.
Media, reporters, and standard citizens, they treat them all the same.
So you becoming aware that somebody is a member of the press does not affect your decision-making in reference to your First Amendment training?
No, and how was I to know that he was a member of the press? Whenever I interact with members of the press, they usually identify what station they're with or a group that they're with. They usually have some sort of identification, name badge.
Ooh.
We have a good relationship with press out here. They don't approach us the way that DeCastro did.
Are you
Nice.
familiar with the difference between traditional press or independent media?
Yes, but again, independent media would approach us more respectfully than DeCastro.
Oh,
Is your
Nice.
opinion that traditional media has different rights than new media, independent media?
Objection, Your Honor, at this point, I think we're well beyond the scope of.
Sustained.
Thank you.
trying to get his lawyer to platform for him. We need some circus music in the background.
And court's indulgence, I apologize. So your testimony is, if I recall correctly, that you received First Amendment training when you initially went through your officer training,
Yes,
and then you received one follow-up after that.
I can't, no, it was more than one. I don't know exactly how many. Typically that training is annual.
And your testimony, just to reiterate, this is the first time you've experienced a First Amendment issue of this nature.
With our word rage.
Question, I believe I objected to that question when it was posed as a violent encounter and it was sustained. And I also objected on the grounds of relevance. As the court indicated, what we're concerned about is his interaction with the defendant specifically. And so I object.
Sustained, I'm only concerned about this interaction.
Trying to make it about something else.
Do you recall during your interactions with the
Has
defendant
to.
that you told
Got no
him that
choice.
you believed First Amendment auditors often pull out guns and shoot people?
I didn't say that they often do that.
Do you recall what you said?
Chille.
I don't. I would have said that.
I'm glad
these
they
strangers
changed the camera so we can see
and
his
officers get
reaction.
ambushed all the time.
No,
It could
yeah.
have been a First Amendment auditor. It could have been a regular citizen. It could have been a cook from one of the places nearby.
Right,
But
unclean
I wouldn't have
hands.
specifically said that First Amendment auditors are at higher risk.
Exactly, UH.
And again, just to reiterate, your testimony is that
Objection, I mean, anytime it's prefaced as just to reiterate, I feel like I should object on an asked and answered ground.
That a girl.
Not just to hear it, but it just sounds like a reiteration of the questions that have been previously asked. So my objection is ask and answer.
I'm gonna ask this question before I rule in objection.
again, I'm just trying to clarify because I think this point was ambiguous, but do you recall the defendant?
You're a
telling you that
puppet,
he was a
that's
member
what
of
you
the
are.
press, during the interaction?
Ask and answer.
Yeah, you can almost see Chille's hand there.
Yeah.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Will you direct?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I would love to hear a conversation between those two.
Stand by them and do, please.
Does the state rest?
At this point, we do.
Does the defense have any witnesses?
You
Your
gotta
Honor, I call Jose De Castro.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And this is
I was
what we were
hoping
waiting
so.
for.
Yep. Oh boy.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No.
Please be
Yeah,
seated.
right.
Mr. DeCastro, before you testify, I'm obligated to inform you that you have the right to testify in this proceeding, but you also have the right to
Yeah,
remain silent.
I think we
Should
just
you
had
choose
an
to remain
earthquake.
silent, I may not hold that against you.
Oh, yeah?
Making my decision. Do you understand
When
that?
he sat down, you mean?
Yeah. No, when the whole world applauded.
Da, 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 da,
You go to
da.
YouTube channel.
Fat joke.
Yes, I
It's
do.
a fat
Can you
joke.
give some insight into what that channel was about?
Objection, relevance.
What's the relevance?
Your Honor, the relevance is that we're presenting a First Amendment defense and the defendant is a member of the press.
Does anybody want to start a pool in the chat? How long it takes before he blows his top?
Can give insight.
Is that
into
an
that.
over
Anybody?
under?
Everybody put a guess in the
and see
chat.
Where it goes.
Oh,
He's got the pinky out.
Yes, I do have I do have a YouTube channel, and the reason I have a YouTube channel is because of how many cops kill people every year. How many
oh
cops
my God.
Oh.
rape and kill people every single year.
And the question
It's
is?
an epidemic that the rest of the world, I get thousands of emails saying only in
Here,
America
2
does this
seconds.
happen. I started filming cops because when I was cheated in
Yeah, you got it.
2002.
Objection at this point.
He's turning
Yeah.
it into a commercial.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
narrative,
What's the question?
So can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. What type of films do you make for your YouTube channel?
I only film police. in their official capacity. I'm known across the country and across the world.
Jesus
And
Christ.
why do you engage in that type of filming?
So I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Need to direct your questions about the incident in
Wow.
question.
Yep, UH, that's exactly
The
what this
reason I was
is.
filming this report that day.
Objection, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry.
I am gonna reload this just with the circus
DeCastro,
music.
On the
Absolutely.
question, why did you approach that vehicle?
I was filming that cop because that's what I do for a living. I am a member of the press. And I invoked my right to be press. I always invoke my right to be press within the first 10 seconds of engaging with police, and I have thousands of videos that prove this.
So this is how you make money.
Yep.
This is not how specifically I make money. I make money from selling legal documents to people.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you recall the officer telling you back up?
Yes, I do.
And what did you do after he told you back up?
I took
Okay.
a couple steps back.
Too loud.
Showed him that I was willing to back up a little bit. However, if I may, in Arizona, they.
Later.
Objection, relevance, we're not in Arizona, it's the state of Nevada.
Send it to
So I'm gonna allow it because I think that goes to why he kept saying 10 feet in the video, even though, I will take judicial notice that you're not in the state of Arizona, you're in the state of Nevada.
Well, a federal judge struck it down, Your Honor, and what,
Stop.
Oh,
Can you ask me a
Wow.
question?
Yes, Your Honor. Approximately how many feet did you back up?
I backed up a foot or two. I was at least 10 feet away from that car that the driver was pulled over in.
And when you spoke to the driver, what did you say?
Just after she was okay. The reason I filmed police is because they abuse people so often.
Do you recall the officer telling you not to speak with the driver?
Yes,
And
He
did
looks
you
bad.
make any statements to the driver after that command was given?
absolutely not.
Did the officer ever give you a specific distance to back up to?
No.
So now he's saying he didn't talk to the
If
driver?
he did, would you have complied with that?
Sure.
Did you believe you were complying with the officer's command?
100%. I also informed him I'm a member of the press. I'm a constitutional law scholar. that this is-
What a
Do you recall the
show.
officer explaining to you why he decided to arrest you?
There's several parts to the reason why he said he was going to arrest me. He said he was going to arrest me because I wouldn't turn my head a certain direction. If I didn't turn and face the car with my head, that he would place me under arrest instead of just giving me a ticket.
Do you recall him explaining why he decided to detain you before he arrested you?
He decided to obtain me because he said I was obstructing, which from my understanding is a physical act where I would have to get in the way.
It
He
isn't
said that the
stupid.
driver deserves privacy. I believe my First Amendment rights are not up for feelings.
Did
He
explain
also
to you that
lied
basis
to
of
the
your
judge.
detention was related primarily to the issue of privacy or the issue of you backing up?
Well, I think from the officer's testimony, we can see that he's scared of the driver, scared of me, scared of everything. They teach them to be afraid of everything.
Oh,
So I had
boy.
2 cameras out. It's identified as a member of the press. I'm sorry, repeat the question. I want to get it specific for the record.
Sure. The question was, did the officer explain to you that the basis of your detention was because of you not backing up or because of the privacy issue of the driver?
It was both. He said that, he told me to back up. I backed up a little bit. Then he said, she deserves privacy. And then I told him to go get in your car, little doggy, and write your ticket. And at that point, his face turned beet red and his veins in his neck stuck out because we were over 20 feet away. And you had to holler to hear each other because the wind was probably 30 miles an hour.
Did you at any point attempt to hit any of the officers involved?
No, absolutely not.
He
Did
swatted him.
you intentionally swat any of the officers?
Absolutely not. He was giving me unlawful commands. I should not have been detained.
Whoa.
After identified as a member
Yeah,
of the
he
press.
did swat at
If he
him.
ever
He
reached
is-
a hand out towards me, I wrestle and teach MMA and I have for 30 years.
Oh, my
It was just a
God.
natural reaction.
Can't
It's been retreating
fucking
from somebody.
believe this
I
guy.
may have put my hand up, as he said, as he testified himself. I certainly am a law-abiding citizen. I don't break the law. So I would not
You
have tried
maniac.
to assault an officer under any circumstances.
Is it possible that
Ah.
during the interaction, there was inadvertent contact between you and the officer?
Sure, he decided to go hands-on with me when he was giving me unlawful commands. And there was absolutely no reason for it. I was willing to comply with anything he asked within reason, because I don't want to have a fist fight with another man on the street.
Do you recall the officer ordering you to go to his patrol vehicle?
I do.
And what did you do in response to that?
Initially, I told him no, but then when he began to get physical with me and start to grab me and touch me, I said, okay, I'll go over to your car. His car was 35 feet away. I then led him to his car. It's on video, you can see it. I would walk right up to his car, and then he insisted still on grabbing me. After he saw me pull out an additional phone, which that's what press people do. We have lots of cameras on.
What the fuck?
What
Did you
press
inform,
people do.
the officer that you
This
were
is
member
a
of the
mag-
press?
Oh, several times. It's in the transcripts. I've transcribed them myself. Several times I told him I'm a member of the press.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything, stupid. This is a
And did you explain to
magnificent.
the officer that you have a background in
Magnificent.
constitutional law?
Yes, I told him I'm a constitutional law scholar, which was a moniker given to me by other people who are also.
Can we see some evidence of that?
Yeah, really.
And that's what some other lawyers on another channel called me 3 years ago. And I said,
I know,
"That's the
Victor.
moniker."
Please let them
And just to get
destroy
some,
him on cross.
I guess, further background, were you looking for police to report on this particular day?
No, there's the cops hide on the side of the road to pull people over. It's pretty regular in our country. I was just in the
Jeez.
parking lot there. I saw that Mr. Bork had somebody pulled over, concerned for her safety. I began to film.
And why do you think that law enforcement traffic stops are relevant to the public?
That's where most people get killed.
Objection relevance to that question, which is right.
Sting,
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
I have no questions for this witness.
thank you, sir. You may step
Wow.
down.
Missed a good opportunity there.
This is
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I just
She could have got him riled up easy.
State.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
The state asks you to find the defendant.
I don't think they have much
guilty of
interest in him.
public officer as well as resisting a public officer charged against him. The video very adequately portrays, and I don't think it's disputed by the defendant, what the context was of the interaction with the officer. I would venture to say that had the defendant just complied with the original order to not engage with the driver and to back up, we wouldn't be here. He wouldn't have found himself further engaging with Officer Ward. This is not a First Amendment issue. As you heard over and over and over again on
She must
video,
have a good lunch
Officer
date
Ward did
today
not
or
have a
something.
problem with the defendant recording. It's not a.
But they
First
just really
Amendment
don't have that
issue.
much interest in him.
Yeah, not like we do, huh?
He's a
Here, you have an
nuisance.
officer who conducted a lawful traffic stop. You saw the nature of the stop. There was
He's just wasting
no
everybody's
animosity
time.
between the officer and the driver. It was rather peaceful. They were engaged, banter back and forth. He would have, as he testified, he was trying.
I will
to
say
determine
this
whether
about
he
Zimmerman.
was
She has been engaged the entire time.
And then you have an individual. the
She hasn't
defendant,
been piddling around back there.
Traffic stops, Your Honor.
Well, he's
There
jerked
is
her around so long.
Particularly in crowded parking lots, I guess anywhere, I would venture to say. This officer was reasonable in thinking that anyone who would approach in the manner that the defendant approached his scene would have a reason to fear for his safety, or at least be suspicious of this individual's motives coming in. The officer had no problem with the recording. The officer had no problem with the defendant observing. It was when he inserted himself into this lawful detention that was occurring with the Hyundai driver that the officer turned his attention onto the defendant. This is not a First Amendment issue. This is an individual who took what he perceived to be his rights too far. The officer was well within his right, as well as acting reasonably when he asked him to back up. That 21-foot rule, it's appropriate. He said that was the training that they received in terms of the distance that's allowed for someone who needs to do them harm. It's a threat assessment. We don't know when the defendant approached, whether he had a gun concealed, whether he had a knife concealed, whether he had other weapons. And you'll hear multiple times in the video, Officer Bork yelling, "Stop reaching, stop reaching." This is an unknown, when defense counsel asked Officer Bork all of these questions about how it is that you do this, and Officer Bork kept responding, it depends on the situation, it depends on the totality of the circumstances. Here was an officer acting alone, individually, engaged one-to-one with a driver. That he had no problem with. You insert another individual who enters the scene in the manner that the defendant did. And now this officer's attention is going to be divided. He had every reason to fear for his safety as well as that of the driver. Again, if he had just complied with the officer's commands or demands to back up, and a lot was made about, hey, he didn't have an opportunity to tell the defendant exactly how far back. As the officer testified, even just with the, hey, back up, the defendant didn't back up, not willingly. That's why the officer had to continue to engage with him and force him into the situation. Had he complied, he would not have been charged with obstruction. Had he complied initially, he would not have been charged with the resisting. The officer was, you are going to have to assess credibility. There's nothing in the video or Officer Bork's testimony that would cause the court to question his veracity or his intention for that matter. He was very honest in that he didn't believe the defendant wasn't trying to harm him necessarily with the SWAT. That's why the defendant wasn't charged with the battery on a protected person or police officer. But that SWAT, Your Honor, I would argue, was meant to resist. At that point in time, the officer was trying to detain him and subsequently arrest him on the obstruction as depicted in the video. And so at this point, I think we proved by beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant did hinder Officer Bork's investigation and detention of the Hyundai driver, and that he resisted the officer's arrest and or attempt to arrest him. And so we would ask that you find the defendant guilty of both.
Right, thank you. Ben?
Yes, Your Honor. So first of all, you cannot obstruct an unlawful order. I disagree with the state that this is not a First Amendment issue. The First Amendment in this context actually has two parts. There's the filming and the right to film within a reasonable distance. The case law in all federal circuits, Your Honor, there's no 21 feet.
And there's also
rule
laws
that's been
about
approved by any court
obstructing.
where I'm aware, that there is a 10-foot rule. That seems to be the rule that is applied by most of the federal circuits in interpreting the First Amendment. I submitted a bench brief that kind of goes through that issue, if the courts had a chance to review that.
I don't have that. When did you submit it?
It was submitted yesterday, Your Honor.
I mean, at this point, I would move to strike because it's untimely, but I got it this morning when I walked into court.
Go ahead.
So the officer's testimony that there's essentially this 21-foot distance where anybody can charge an officer and cause physical harm to an officer, if that is applied universally, Your Honor, it totally diminishes and violates the First Amendment. That is, as the officer testified, a 21-foot radius that he can attempt to impose. I believe his testimony was anytime there's not an obstacle between a person and somebody that law enforcement is interacting with. And that's just not what the law requires, Your Honor. The First Amendment gives their media, new media, old media, it gives individuals the right to film government agents. There's no dispute that that's the requirement. And if the officer is applying this 21-foot circumference to all law enforcement interactions, he's effectively eliminated the ability to film law enforcement going about their duties. The commands to not talk to the driver are also not based on any actual legal justification. There's no right to privacy in public, whether you're engaged with law enforcement or not. There's no requirement or no statute, no law that citizens can't interact with drivers that are
interacting with law enforcement. So what's taken place here, Your Honor, is that this officer has taken it upon himself to essentially act as the legislature and created these rules that have no basis in any law, and in fact are contrary to the First Amendment. Again, you can't obstruct an unlawful demand, so there is no obstruction of justice here. Resisting arrest, Your Honor, the court can see the video. Essentially what happened is he walked over to the front of the vehicle.
Yeah,
There
now we
was
need
some
a
dispute about why he was
slide
being
whistle.
detained. That was discussed.
Yeah.
The case law in that area, Your Honor, is that
Obstruction of
if it's an
justice.
unlawful arrest, which it was in this case, because they're essentially arresting him for violating these unlawful orders that they're pronouncing. Again, the case law is you can passively resist an unlawful arrest, and that's all that occurred. Thank you.
All right, Mr. DeCastro, please stand. The problem with the argument that your attorney makes is it completely fails to consider the safety of the officer and the safety of the driver. The officer doesn't know who you are, and the driver doesn't know who you are. And you don't have any right to interfere with that officer doing his investigation and deciding if he wants to issue a ticket to this driver. And you also don't have any business approaching the driver. The driver didn't ask you for help. The driver didn't say, help, help, you know. You didn't see an altercation happening between the officer and this driver. The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film, it's fine, all right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job. You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer.
Here it
I'd like to hear
comes.
from the state and then your attorney prior to sentencing.
Your Honor, in terms of sentencing, I would ask that our defendant enter and complete an impulse control class. I would ask that the court lobby a $500 fine or the equivalent in community service. I would ask that the defendant be ordered to stay out of trouble for the pendency of the case. And I would ask for a 90-day suspended sentence. And that's on as to each count to one concurrent.
Guess what, little missy?
Here's the windup and the pitch.
Yep.
That's our request.
Thank you.
I appreciate your recommendation there, dear prosecutor, but
Your Honor, I'm asking the court to sentence the defendant to credit for time served for these offenses. Even if the court concludes, and the court did conclude that he didn't have the right to do what he did, I think the court can see that he sincerely believed that he had the right to do so. That's based on his past experiences and the training.
not helping his client much by saying that.
I don't think there was any intent from the defendant to engage in any wrongdoing in this case, Your Honor. And that being the case, especially because of the public policy interests at issue.
So when you say he doesn't wish to engage in any wrongdoing, it seems to me from observing him in the video that he wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States.
Wow.
Please stand up, sir.
He knows he lost and he's
cut him off the nose.
I would just
what a punk.
emphasize, Your Honor, that
my client is a dickhead.
the defendant testified and he sincerely believes that he is providing a public service. He reviews and films these incidents. I understand the court may have a different view of that, but when we're talking about
that's what matters.
public policy issues such as supervising people involved in government, I think that is something the court can take into consideration, not to have a chilling effect on that. I'll spit on that, Your Honor.
And Mr. DeCastro, please
Oh,
stand.
man.
I hereby sentence you to 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 1, 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 2, to run consecutive for a total of 180 days in custody.
Nice.
Sentence suspended or?
Beautiful.
Oh,
Oh. Oh, wow.
Sentence suspended or?
Yeah. Torture cuffs, everybody.
This is travesty of justice.
Here it goes.
So I don't like police. Put you in jail for half a year. How long have I been in? Just get in the car. Yeah, it's in the church. Oh, can I get my keys off? My keys are in the garage. They're in the garage. Can you enjoy? No, the briefcase. Yeah. I'll get
Those
you-
look like fancy torture cuffs.
Get a hold of my assistant, James.
Wow. Wow, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick. I want to put this up here because Sue Bear said something about it. Hold on here a second. Let's see what old Chad.
Yeah, he had his head hung low. He could only manage a little half-hearted travesty of justice outburst. Well, that's what you call.
Oh, sorry about that.
This is
just
Chad.
reminded.
This is Chad Goo.
Oh, nice.
Okay, hang on. He did a little short today. Yeah.
Me something else. What a travesty of justice. Oh no. There's going to be some really upset people, including, I'm sure Cousin Tater's going to be all upset pretty soon. Good times.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend named Ramblin' Bob. He used to steal and gamble and rob. He thought he was the smartest guy around. But he's in the jailhouse now.
Nice.
Oh, sorry about that. Just reminded me of something else. What a travesty of justice.
Okay, I had to let it play all the way around. Chad.
Hooray for Leducator.
Yep.
That's good stuff. Yeah, that's what you call satisfying, ladies and gentlemen. That is literally like waking up with your hemorrhoids gone. I mean, does it really get much better than that?
No,
you had to sit through a lot of court proceedings.
Somebody told me he threw a fit. He didn't throw a fit.
No,
I kind of expected him to be a little more vocal on his way out, though.
No, he was gut punched.
Oh, he was shocked. He was in shock.
Yeah, he was too. When it set in that he had to really go to jail. I mean, that really took the wind out of his sails.
Boy, that judge was having none of it. I mean,
yeah.
She had made her determination long before the arguments were finished.
Yeah, they were thinking they were going to be able to turn it into a grandstanding about 1A rights, and nope. They refused to even go down that road, you know. And it's so funny, yeah, because
I wonder how the prosecutor feels.
I
mean,
I think she just wants him off her plate. To be honest, because
that's why I said I think
they don't have any. The state doesn't. Where a trial with Chille would get interesting is with between a private citizen I mean, Kate, there wasn't much to, I mean, Chille didn't even have, she didn't even need to make an argument against him, really. I mean, she, you know, basically,
You're right, Glover,
he
Mom.
fucked himself. But if somebody who really knew Chille's history and everything about him, you know, were to cross-examine him.
Well, she obviously did some research. I mean,
yeah, but she wasn't gonna even pursue that line of,
she hit,
you know what I mean?
hit the nail right on the head and drove it all the way home.
Yeah, it was smart. She stuck right to it, and they kept trying to make it about all that other stuff.
His lawyer sucked.
Well, I'm sure Chille was giving him unlawful directives.
Well, it's like he told that attorney yesterday. He'll have a standby attorney.
Yeah, he's trying to. Yeah, he's like and going up in there and trying to do a fucking commercial for himself, like always. I mean, he hit every single fucking Chille note. He's a constitutional law scholar. Ooh, what a big badass he is. You know, and this and that. But I mean, one day before he got arrested, on his community page, and I forwarded this to the prosecutor's office because I thought it could possibly be relevant to, you know, the discussions. Because if they, you know, if it did get deeper into it and you start talking about his history of, because he said, somebody said near the end there, something that rang this bell. He put a community post on his page the day before he got arrested that said it was an article about a judo instructor who was able to like avoid getting into trouble because cops tried to arrest him and he like subdued him or something. I forget the details of it now, but the gist of it was, Chille's takeaway was, oh, you can throw coppers on your head if you don't, you know, if it's not whatever the, you know, an unlawful arrest or whatever his reasoning is.
Unlawful command.
Yeah, Chille just has a boner for cops, and he probably wants to bang a cop, and he you know, he's always going up to those young officers and telling them how cute and hot they are and stuff, and he's always dressing up like a fucking cop.
Yeah, there's little commercials.
He just has a yeah, I mean, well, he's got so many problems, but yeah, so basically, yeah, he's looking for any excuse to either say he could kick a cop's ass, or, you know, he can it's the weird domination thing with that guy, man. Like you're not my daddy, you know, that what a fucking fruitcake, man. He really needs to take his head into the shop for some work. Maybe there's a prison jailhouse psychiatrist there. Maybe they didn't give him any counseling. Didn't the prosecutor recommend some kind of counseling or something? Did I mishear that?
I couldn't hear it all.
Some kind of program. I thought I heard her say.
I heard her talking about staying out of trouble and this, that, and the other.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
thanks, Angel.
Cool, man. Yeah, that was entertaining as hell. I'll be relieved to have a break from that little fucking nuisance for 6 months. That's for sure. I mean, but I'm wondering, how much does he get a cell phone? How much is he going to be able to? I mean, I can't imagine they're going to let him produce a show from jail, right? Have access to YouTube and all that?
I don't think so. I don't think that'd happen in Clark County.
Yeah.
While it was on mute, I pulled up the Clark County jail. I just wanted to see a little bit about it. I guess it's a pretty rough place.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he is when he comes on out. What do you guys think? Is he gonna be the same guy? Is he gonna have a revelation? Is somebody gonna pound some sense into him while he's in there?
Or do you think he'll make it out?
One end or the other? I don't know, man. I mean, he's such a...
Thank you, Danny, dear. Appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, Danny. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's got such a fucking thick skull.
Yeah, I don't think he'll change any. What's interesting is it will be interesting to see what happens in this next case. They won't have to look for him. You can't call in sick.
Yeah, I don't know what the ramifications of that are. They going to give him more? Just give him more time. I mean, especially since he's in jail. I don't know. That's interesting. It'll be interesting, but that's coming up in May, right?
I believe so. She set the
May 1st, right? So
right.
We got a little break from him. I think we'll all enjoy that. And wow, I mean, yeah, he looked just.
Yeah, I like to have seen the expression on his face. I wish the camera was the other way.
Yeah, well, you got caught it as he was walking out. Like he had his head down and he just looked.
No, not going to be suspended.
Yeah.
No.
Nice try. Yeah. Well, he was the disrespectful punk we expected him to be. The grandstanding idiot.
That's what's so disgusting about him is the grandstanding.
Yeah, I mean, to sit there on the stand and call yourself a constitutional law scholar. I mean, you know, like I said, if it was a different kind of case, you know, that somebody on cross-examination could really
he could
destroy him. Like, what qualifications do you have?
If he knew he was going to take the stand, his attorney should have said, "Let me frame this for you. I can frame this for you, and I can ask the questions, and you can get this out." Now, I don't know how much the judge would have stood for it, but if, you know, for him to get up there without a question, you know, what was the question? He went up there just like an infomercial. Thank you, Vaughn.
Dude.
Love you.
Yeah. It was, that guy is a commercial for himself and his fucking stupid trifles and whatever else. I mean,
who's running his channel now? Do you know?
No.
I know he's got a couple new people doing his editing and stuff. Be curious to see what happens if they try to keep it up and going.
I'm sure they will. But I don't know where they're located geographically. I don't know how much like phone time he gets. I wonder if Condon and Lloyd, if, you know, he's tried to be in touch with them to fill up his canteen or whatever.
Commissary.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of that. But I don't know. You know, you send those TV preachers to jail. They come out, they just go back to it. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting. See if somebody can locate an inside source.
Yeah,
to feed some information out.
Yeah,
be golden.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think he's the type of guy that is ever going to smarten up until something like really bad happens to him. Who knows? I don't know. When I was in the Navy, there was a guy in our squadron who he was kind of like Chille in that whenever he came into the room, he was the guy everybody like rolled their eyes at, you know, when he just a fucking loudmouth and a fucking annoying motherfucker. And he got sent up to detached duty up to a shipyard, Bremerton, which I don't know if you spend much time around shipyards, but there's a reason they call those guys salty, because they basically, you know, it's a pretty rough environment. You know what I mean? They're not fuck around type of guys. And he came back from that detachment a few months later with a humongous black eye, and he was really, really quiet after that. So some guys, you know, I you know, sometimes that kind of thing is just a ticket for making somebody realize, hey, you know, maybe I shouldn't go around talking so much shit all the time. But I don't know. I think Chille's too far gone. You know, he really needs, I keep saying this in my videos, you know, And I'm not joking. I mean, that guy needs some serious time with a shrink.
He certainly does. Wow.
Yeah.
What a day.
Yeah. I certainly wasn't expecting it to turn out like this. I thought he would get a couple weeks in jail because he irritated piss out of the judge up to that point. And she didn't even, she was pretty
the prosecuting attorney was wasted breath. She had already determined what she was going to do at that point. You could see it in her face. She wasn't going to take the recommendation of the prosecutor. She's dead set on doing what she did. And, we were lucky enough to see the preview. And that was the preview that we watched earlier today, was the part where she said, you want to be arrested. You want the conflict. You do it for your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And knowing that was coming, kind of was a tip off, but she's absolutely right. I mean, she gets the grifter part of it. And
it was kind of interesting that the prosecutor didn't, maybe they were just, I don't know, didn't want to muddy the waters with it at all. Because they but I mean, there's so much ammunition you could use against Chille. But yeah, it was an effective play.
Yeah,
it's interesting with all those moving parts, and
it'd be interesting to see watching. And I do go over there and watch now, and have been for a couple months, our Nevada judges. If we see her again, to see if maybe has a little more backbone when it comes to recommendations on the. I don't know. Probably won't come across anything like this again, but
well, like they don't really have much interest in him. You know what I mean? Beyond him.
No, but you know as well as I do. Well, maybe you don't. I've sat through a lot of court stuff when I was a bailiff, and the court generally takes those recommendations.
Yeah, the prosecutor could have gone way harder on Chille.
Oh, way harder.
I mean,
and talking about suspending sentence on both of them, and
I mean, it just takes a cursory glance at his YouTube page to make the same conclusion that the judge made. Which is that this guy's just a serial menace. He just does this shit. He has no idea what he's talking about, and
who. I know this guy, this attorney, is someone he's not used before. Does he have anybody that he leans on anymore for like his appeals and things like that? Because he's gonna, he'll appeal.
Has Chille used lawyers to any degree in courtrooms before?
Not really. Really. Yeah, he had that one guy hung around for a while a couple of years ago, but. Yeah, I don't know. According to the Clark County Prison Handbook, you can actually write to Chille if you want. That's what Java Man says. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think AI Chille is definitely going to send him a card.
I wonder if he can get videos to play in the lunchroom.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I'll definitely have to make a nice card with AI Chille on it.
We're gonna have to get word to the boss of that to the cell floor that he's on to turn on YouTube.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when how far his little sales pitch is gonna go in the clink. I mean,
he'll have every weakling that's looking for something to cling to in jail coming to him for legal advice. And
wow.
Think about it, the way jail works like that way. Now the hard asses aren't going to pay any attention to him, but there's a lot of guys that end up in situations and they're totally clueless. They can't afford an attorney. They don't feel like their court appointed attorney did them any justice. And Chille will feed off that. Yeah, he will.
Yeah, he's gonna probably, unfortunately, thinking about it from that, he might just come out of this even worse than before.
Yeah, with a bigger. God.
So
yeah, they will. They'll cling to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? You saw how, I mean, there's all those moving parts in court, and it, it ultimately came down to the judge really delivering. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, as far as sentencing, like,
I love her.
He was found guilty pretty easily, it seemed like, but the sentencing was the man. Yeah.
And I do like the fact that she stayed engaged the whole time. A lot of times you'll see those judges back there piddling around, maybe writing some notes and doing different things that don't have anything to do with the trial.
Well, I don't think Chille did himself any favors in that department. I mean, he agitated and delayed and just was a jackass in general.
Even a couple weeks ago when he made that comment on Zoom, Mondays and Fridays work for me.
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad.
She gave him a whole fucking handful of too bad today, huh? That was like a two-fisted too bad beatdown.
God, it will be interesting to see when he gets settled in if any kind of information starts to leak out on his ass.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin. If
just got to maybe get lucky that somebody's familiar with him and familiar with YouTube and see the opportunity.
Yeah, I make it a habit to steer clear of jails if possible. Yeah, wow. That was something. I feel
yeah, Angel, you know what? That was the worst thing that he could do when he threw that little tantrum in there. I hate all cops and da 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 da. What an idiot. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Yeah, he hit all the notes. And then did you see his little thumbs after he got after he knew he was guilty, then he started smarting off to the judge, which is also very stupid. And he gave the old thumbs up there when she was saying, "You hate all." And she was clearly pissed off, like, at that concept. And he had to be a little wise guy and give her the thumbs up.
See what's going on
while she's talking about that. That was, he's just such an asshole. Just can't help it. But yeah, I think that scenario you described, jailhouse scenario, seems plausible.
His last video he posted, my arraignment today, trial in Las Vegas tomorrow.
Yeah. And then nothing. Yep. Yeah, it'll be so he hasn't, his little minions haven't posted anything. It'd be kind of funny if they were like, you know what? Bye.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? I know if this was some guy I just started working with, I'd be like, maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, they haven't. There's nothing.
Huh. Well, yeah, so that's another question. What does happen to his YouTube channel? Apparently he's in some heavy legal debt. He's signed his name to some contracts with a few lawyers, apparently. So he's on the hook for like the remainder of the funds. I don't know how any of that works. But yeah, he's got to be despondent. What's his, anybody got any idea what his accommodations are like over there? Like, is he in his own little cell? Does he got cellmates? I mean, it's just local jail, right?
That'd be a county jail. It'd probably be pods and, 60 to a pod, maybe 40. I don't know how big the pods are, but usually they're 2-level pods. He might have cellmate, he might not. He might end up in isolation. He might go in there and get pushed and bullied around enough that they might ISO him.
Yeah, that's possible too. Depending on how rough the environment is,
I'm sure it's probably pretty rough. We're talking about the desert, my friend. We're talking about Las Vegas, and we're talking, there's probably a whole lot of immigrants in this system.
Probably a lot of drug, like meth type of.
Lot of drugs. Yeah, I promise you, it's gonna be tough. It's not gonna be a patsy jail. That's for sure.
Well, he brought it on himself.
Yeah. See what they say as far as so here's 60 days in. Absolutely. I think you should.
He won't get arrested. He's much more pleasant.
Right on, Danny. I might do that.
Yeah, wow. So many questions. Well, we got a little glimpse into what he might be in for in there. I'm interested to hear somebody with more legal knowledge than myself.
Right.
Let me
look at. I'm gonna pop over to Darcy's channel real quick, see if he did a live.
Oh, good point. Yeah. If you guys aren't subscribed to Patrick Darcy, by the way, you should definitely subscribe to him.
Absolutely.
Very smart lawyer. And he was supposed to do some commentary on this Chille video.
Let's see what he's got.
But I would love to hear somebody's opinion as to what is going to happen with his upcoming charges, because he just got slammed pretty hard for these charges.
Right.
And it's the exact same thing. I mean, is that maybe, I don't know.
Same system, different judge. And he's already got.
Maybe I don't know. It'll be the same prosecuting attorney, I assume.
Yeah, Tim Stone says,
or maybe not.
Chille can buy it, or we can get on the inside and do a takeover. Here's Darcy.
The result in today, Chille got convicted on both counts. I suspected he would be. I figured he wasn't getting away from this one. These are tough charges to beat. I'm taking a look here at the docket. I'll explain it to you. It was a very short case done in one day. I expected it to take a little bit longer than that. There was only one witness, it looked like the state, and one witness, which was Chille. That I figured the cops would bring in more than just one cop to testify, but hey, they got the win, so that's all that matters. Let's take a look at the docket. Here's the docket. He was convicted right here. Boom, boom, boom. There was a motion to create a standby counsel for his attorney, which is kind of an awkward thing to do. Judges don't really like it, because what you're saying is, I'm competent enough to know the rules of evidence. I'm going to be held to the same standards as a lawyer. There was a bench memorandum filed the same day, probably supporting the standby counsel argument. The matter was heard today, and it was a one-day trial. And it says motion to exclude witnesses by the state, motion granted. So I don't know who they excluded, but here are the grounds for exclusion of a witness. Cumulative testimony. He's going to testify to the same things that the defendant is testifying to. Another one would be incompetent testimony. The person is testifying things they don't have any direct knowledge of. So Brandon Bork, I think, was the cop. And then the defense witness was Jose De Castro himself. He testified. Then he rests. Then the motion now this is a typical motion brought by defense attorneys. It's a motion to dismiss, claiming that the prosecution did not meet its reasonable doubt standard, which is roughly equivalent to clear and convincing evidence. Then what happens is the defense attorney will stand up, and that's probably where this came in, was not by Jose De Castro arguing this, but a lawyer.
Right.
Saying, hey, look, these are the elements to meet it. I think the statute's vague as to this, therefore they haven't met their burden, or the prosecution's main witness said these things, and that would not meet the elements for a conviction. I've already gone over what the elements are: willfulness in some instances, others could be negligence. I mean, these are all purpose statutes, which makes them dangerous. And then defense rests, motion to dismiss, an argument in favor of said motion by the defense, argument against it. So of course the prosecutor says, no, hold on. Yeah, you can't dismiss the case on these grounds. It says, thereupon the court found the defendant guilty, arguments made by parties regarding sentencing. I could see the defense attorney saying, well, it's a first time offense. You ought to be able to let him go. That is within the court's parameters to do. Now, here's what happened. If the maximum sentence is 6 months per charge, and the judge gives him 6 months as a first offender and 6 months for another one as a first offender, and then runs them consecutively, so that's a year in jail, that would generate its own appeal. And the appellate courts might say, in all the cases you've done, how did this guy get the heightened punishment? How'd you give him the maximum? So the judges always play that game back. They anticipate a appeal, and they say, well, we gave him the mid-range sentence for each one. Well, then that's not an abuse of discretion. Surprised me was the consecutive sentences. I wasn't expecting that. I warned against it because it could turn a misdemeanor into a real pain in the ass, especially if you get 90 days. I didn't think he was going to rack up this much time. This is really a harsher sentence than I expected for him. Then right here, it says judgment has been entered, remanded. Whoa, no cash or security there, no bail. You went right to jail. Do not collect your $200. Do not pass go. Nope, none of that. Case closed, court order. I can't get a hand on a minute order. That would just simply say what the judge's findings were usually, and they're probably pretty brief. And then it says both of defendant's cell phones were returned to his counsel and is in his possession now. So this was possession property that was turned over to the lawyer as his client is being carted off to jail. So there you go. Very hard to win an appeal on a misdemeanor case unless you really want to throw a lot of money at it. I was mentioning how the Nevada statutes, in my opinion, looking at this from a California perspective and as a constitutional lawyer, this to me looked unconstitutional because it was too broad and too easy to subjectively bust somebody. I'm never in favor of a law like that because, like I said, an innocent person get busted. Anyway, he's got an uphill fight because the Nevada Supreme Court has already ruled, and I showed you this, that these cases are constitutional, especially when it involves officer safety, and here you've got a cop involved. His only play then, after going through the appellate court and then hoping for a petition to the Supreme Court of Nevada, where I think all of this will get rejected because the appellate court's hands are tied, is to the Ninth Circuit in hopes to overturn Nevada. Now that will cost a fortune. And he's going to need real appellate lawyers for this. This is not something you can do on a Home Depot project. Appellate briefs are nasty.
Home Depot project.
I think I had 5 or 6 appellate briefs on anti-slaps, and they could easily be 60 to 70 pages and almost one case per line. You just can't argue the facts. It's and you got to show violations that would deprive someone of their due process. There's a lot of discretion that judges have, and typically everything is imputed into the judgment to make it rendered so that it makes sense, so that it can't be overturned. They would have to file an appeal. They would have to, obtain the record. They would have to go through the grounds for appeal and then echo these arguments at least 3 times. So that's it. Game over. I'm amazed at the sentence, stronger than I was expecting. And I think he's got some other cases pending, which won't help him either. And in fact, could result in additional sentences that are stronger.
Wow.
But there is one big problem. How much probation time did they give him so that if he gets out of prison or gets out of jail, any violation of those conditions is a separate offense. And on top of that, could send him back for the remainder of his sentences on these 2 convictions. So this is a big deal. And you know what? Very surprising. I didn't expect this harsh of a result. I felt like it was harsh considering we went over the rules for the Justice Court, and typically they tend to have leniency on first-time offenders. Now, maybe he isn't a first-time offender. You guys have kind of mentioned some of his other stuff going on. I don't know how much of that was in front of the judge. When a judge looks at a sentencing report, she can really think of anything that is out there to wait on the sentence.
Damn good and well that there were people sending her information. I guarantee you she knows he's not a first-time offender.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you.
I don't know how much she pays attention to things she gets like that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Looks like she pays attention.
Mm-hmm.
Just for her to make those comments that she made about clicks and views and YouTube channel and so on and so forth. She's not a dummy, you know.
No, not at all.
And it may be, you never know. Maybe she's got some teenage kids at home or something. Go, oh yeah, we know that guy. Yeah, we watch him on YouTube all the time. You just never know.
Right.
But she was not dense to his whole spiel.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I have a feeling that there was probably, and like you said, I mean, how many times do we do that, DP? I mean, we send stuff all the time to, prosecutors and, councilmen and mayors and so on and so forth. And, it goes on deaf ear sometimes, but, or you think it does,
Yeah,
you just never know. That's why we send that stuff.
I just didn't know. Can you send stuff to a judge? I mean,
why not? Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't
They're
know.
an elected official. Why wouldn't you?
I don't know, man. I'm not
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, why can't you write a letter to a judge?
I don't know.
I mean, do they read all of it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason why you couldn't drop them a line. I sure have put a lot of words into prosecutors and DA's ears and stuff. I think they probably have somebody in their office that reads that crap.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to.
So maybe there were other things in front of her that we don't know about that, made her feel like a stronger sentence was warranted.
Step out.
So there you go.
And that's just his outro.
Yeah, I was getting ready to step out, but I'm not going to. All right.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go on.
He's got a whole music video at the end there.
Put my head.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been interesting to.
Oh, he's got chili stuff.
No, it's not chili stuff. No.
No.
Yeah. I was hoping to hear a little more commentary just about how he thought the proceedings went, but
there wasn't that much there. I mean, when you think about it.
Yeah, just
I mean, the cop's testimony went 30 minutes longer than it needed to because of the damn ass video.
Yeah. And then the weak questions from me and repeated questions. It's like, where are you going with this, buddy? It was pretty transparent attempt to turn it into a podium for Chille's wacky ideas. And it was neither the judge nor the prosecutor had any interest in veering off track, which was good.
Let's see here. See what's going on GoFundMe.
Making sure the scope was limited. What are you looking at? GoFundMe?
I went to GoFundMe. Yeah.
What, Chille's GoFundMe?
Yeah, I want to see what's going on there. See what it says.
So what does everybody plan to do with their Chille-less existence for the next little while?
Kaiser.
I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah, fucking guy. Yeah, he's gonna end up in the same boat. You watch.
Search fundraisers.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely gonna send him a card from AI Chille. Really got to think about what I'm gonna write.
Okay, legal aid fund, donation fund.
Yeah, I would love to. Where are his followers now?
My name is Jose De Castro. My friends call me Chille. I'm starting this fundraiser for people to be able to donate to me. And it says the $25,000 goal, and the balance is 0.
Nice.
0. Give $20 and be a founding donor. 0. Now that's one. He may have another one.
Well, he's got a lot. that was one of the things I was going to go over on a live stream, but I don't know. Now that he's in jail, it's kind of almost like,
Yeah, this was dated the 19th of June, 2023, so a year
but
ago.
the live stream I was going to do is another side of Chille's shadiness, which is his website, particularly the End Torture Cuffs one. It sort of intimates that it's a charitable organization, but it has some very nebulous disclaimer on there claiming that we are actively seeking 501 status. And he did say on one of his recent live streams that he was in the middle of trying to do that. But meantime, he's been collecting funds there, sort of. And who knows, man? I would love to see how he reports all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe the Condon and Lloyd guys do that kind of shit for him behind the scenes. I'm not quite sure, but it's definitely shady. And if he bought the template, which is just a kind of standard website template that is mainly for charitable organizations. You know, you can buy all sorts of different website templates, whether you're a clothing store or whether you're a cafe or whatever. So this was for a charitable organization, and I checked out the pictures that he has of his team on there, and it turns out 2 of the people are just the stock images and names that he just changed the descriptions on a little bit. Like, they're not real people. So right there, it's false pretenses or fraud, as I like to call it. But yeah, there's all sorts of crazy. She plagiarized half of the thing he claims to have an article on there from BBC. He's shady from top to bottom. And it's funny watching like the prosecutor, whose interest in Chille is pretty narrow, but here we are all knowing all this other horrible shit about him. And it makes me wonder why I've invested so much time in this little fucking twerp.
Yeah, he's got on his community tab, he's got a
update.
No, it's a fundraiser for One Demise.
Oh yeah, that was one of the lawyers. He apparently is on the hook to money for money now. But
the lawyer for One Demise.
Yeah, that's just I picked that up earlier on Welsh when somebody was talking about that, I believe. But
Wanda's a treat.
Like I said, my knowledge of that is limited. But yeah, he potentially could have a lot of financial fallout from all this. I mean, I don't know. That new person hasn't been with him for that long. I don't know. I mean, you got to be pretty fucking desperate. You got to be in a spot to work with Chille, I figure, because nobody serious has time to waste with that fucking guy. You know what I mean? So you either really need the money, or alternatively, you could also be a half-wit like Chille.
Wish I knew where his what's his name was right now. His old editor.
I mean, I'm assuming they have to be partially competent. Even his guy Colin, he was able to produce all that stuff. And
I wish I had Colin's email. I'd drop him a email real quick and ask him to come on. I'd like to hear his take on it.
I'm sure he's like the rest of us, popping corks. I mean, yeah, it's satisfying. That was kind of what I was getting at. Like, we know all this stuff about him, so they're just sentencing him for that. But it's much more satisfying for us because we know all the satisfying.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all the scummy fucking shit that he does, all the time. So it's
like I tell everybody, it's the very first video I ever did. That's what kind of got me started doing this, and that's kind of what got you started doing this. So.
That's exactly what got me started doing this was
The driving.
the driving, and we stopped him from doing that.
You certainly did. Not we. You.
Well, no,
you did. No, you did.
Without everybody else watching and sharing.
Right.
And,
yeah, the support did it, but your videos were very instrumental in the main course, you might say.
I was gonna when I thought we were starting at 6, I was gonna have you open the show with the Chille dance track that was the first video I ever did. I collected a bunch of. That was about the time of that Rich Gregson. Remember all that with Irish Demon, and if anybody was around during that period, that was about the time I started coming in here, and I made that little Chille song in hopes of he would hear it and be irritated by it, and then once I started getting more into it, seeing, hey, this motherfucker really is driving like an asshole all the time. This is, dangerous as shit. What
was the name of the video?
Habitual.
Never stop. What was the name of the video?
Yeah, Never Stop Going Down. I don't know. You guys want to hear it? Can play it if you want. Maybe we can play it on the way out. Yeah, no, let's play it on the way out. Don't play it right now. Let's play it on the way out. But yeah.
How do you know I'm not on the way out?
Well, if you are, then play it.
I'm just fucking with you.
But yeah.
There's no reason to go anywhere. There's still about 90 people hanging here. And then I hadn't even, of course, there's no reason to touch on the stuff I had lined up to do anyway, because this takes the cake.
Yeah. What are you going to do for an encore?
Yeah. No encore here.
Bring
except for Never Stop Going Down.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding. Thanks for being here.
I've been.
A lot of new faces in here tonight. I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, please sub to Ram if you're not. And he has memberships. Just saying, he had some channel problems and
my memberships are a mess, people. My channel got deleted back into December, and I had to patch it back together, but it screwed the whole member. I tried to go back in and reset it, and they won't let me reset at the lower prices I was at and all that. So
damn.
I just appreciate being here for the live streams and supporting the videos and so on and so forth. My algorithms are in a little stalemate right at the moment, because I had a video that was doing real good, and then I had a video that I had pulled down, and I argued with them about it, and I'm still arguing with them about it, because there's 3 videos that have the same content still up.
Yeah, including on my channel.
Yeah,
including the live stream we did.
Yeah, the live stream we did, absolutely. But I don't know. Maybe it's not monetized. I don't know.
Try leaving this one up though, dude. Don't try. Just see what happens.
I think I'll do it. I think I'll do it, Danny. I'll clip it. I'll leave the trial part up and I'll just cut the A&E stuff out.
Yeah. If you're able, are you able to do that? You're able to actually cut sections out of the video?
Yeah. All I have to do is upload it to my editing software.
Oh, no. So you have to take it back. You'd have to take it back down, or is it all done online?
No. All I have to do is I don't take it down. All I have to do is look, when I come and cover one of your videos, I don't take your video down. I just I upload it and I take it over and I do what I do to it, and then I download it and then I re-upload it. Well, no, it won't. I'll leave it available.
I understood about 10% of that.
If they strike it, they strike it, but I'll try to get it done tonight.
Cool. Yeah, everybody, we've had quite a couple of good live streams between this and the DUI guy. These have been pretty fun.
That was a good night. That was a really fun night.
Yeah, I would like to start doing more live streams.
They're fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to interact. It's fun to, the spontaneity of it and so on.
Yeah, it's just I got to get things a little settled, but I'll try and make an effort so that way we can
Have
do
you tried
your
milk and magnesia? It's like just a bad joke. All right, sorry.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. This is
been cool.
Wow. I mean, that was all the Christmas presents right there.
That was a good timing too. I mean, all that coming together when it did.
Sleep tight, Chille.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Let's I'm gonna play this on the way out. Normally I do the latest donut operator video.
I gotta get going. So
yeah, I'm just gonna play this on the way out. Appreciate everybody. And we'll be back for sure next Tuesday. Keep your eye on Dick Bag's channel because he's live streaming now. And just keep your eyes open. Keep hit that notification bell so you know when we're gonna pop on. And, we'll catch everybody the next time around.
Live and dangerous.
Live and dangerous, as Dick Bag Patrol used to say.
So long, suckers.
So long, suckers. All right. Till the next time, I'll be gone.
Castro. You will hear exactly who I am, what I'm about, what I stand for, and what my mission is. My name is Jose. You think you're gonna stop me? You think you're gonna stop me?
I'm coming after you. You've never met anybody like me. I'm never stopping. I'm coming after you. You're being hunted. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna get you. I'm not ever stopping.
And it's creepy. It's creepy.
Are you scared? I'm not ever stopping.
It's creepy. It's creepy.
I'll never stop going down, down, down. When things start to go crazy, I just take a breath and I calm down. It doesn't work for me. And then I talk to my family and my friends, and they tell me just to stop. I won't stop. Cross my heart, hope to die. I'm gonna get you, motherfucker, and I'm gonna get you good.
I'm on a life's mission here from God.
Never stop until they're all destroyed.
Are you scared?
All destroyed. I'm not ever stopping.
And it's creepy. It's creepy. Are you scared?
Until they're all destroyed. I'm not ever stopping. This just goes on and on and on. I'm not ever stopping.
Are you just crazy?
Until they're all destroyed.
Are you scared? It's creepy. Are you scared?
I'll never stop going down. I'm so sorry. My mouth's dry.